Greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. Tour Sierra Leone. We are rolling in about 23 days. We're rolling in about 23 days. So if you're interested in joining us in Sierra Leone, please hit me up. Make sure you go to Danfo. Again, DANFO. Danfo dot Africa. Again, go to Danfo dot Africa. Hit that like button. Also share and subscribe. What's the process of residency? For which country, sir? Eric, which country? Yeah, so let me know which country. So again, like, share, subscribe. Go to dynastymirror.com. Also visit Danfo, DANFO dot Africa. Again, Danfo dot Africa. Please visit Danfo dot Africa. Bam, there it is right there. Make sure you visit Danfo dot Africa to learn more about the tours and the awesome work that we are doing. I appreciate it. Drop the link. Okay, I'll drop the link right now. We'll go ahead and jump right into it. I'll go ahead and drop the link. There's a story I wanted to share with you guys first, but links in the chat room. If you're eager to hop on, go ahead and you're more than welcome to hop on. Let me close this real quick. I got the dryer going. There's a lot of feedback noise. Hopefully that helps some of it. There we go. Okay. Peace, everyone. Hold on one second. I want to share this story with you real quick. Let me email it to myself. 1 second. Let's see here. Hold on 1 second, guys. I want to pull up this article real quick. That is, I want to share with you guys. And it proves my point. And at first I thought it was a conspiracy theory, but it's true. They are slowly getting rid. In fact, not even slowly anymore. They've actually sped it up. I'm sorry. As far as getting rid of the middle class here in America. Hold on. Eric Barnes for Sierra Leone. If you have African ancestry DNA results that link you back to Sierra Leone, you're eligible for citizenship. As far as residency for like Sierra Leone and Ghana, if you go, you start a business, okay, then you can apply for residency that way. But let me hold on, guys, I want to pull up this article. Give me a second, bear with me. And I want to share this with you guys in regards to the housing situation here in America and just how overall how they're eliminating the middle class. Yeah, middle class is being moved to working class. There we go. Bam. But hold on 1 second, guys. Let me send this. Guys, give me a second. Hold on. I just saw this. Hold on. Where's this link? Where's this link at? Where's this link? Hold on. Here we go. All right, guys. Let me email this to you. Hold on. Not email it. Let me email it to myself. Report. Hold on 1 second, guys. I got to pull this up. I had to share this with you guys. Here we go. All right, bam. Here it is right here. Let me share the screen real quick. Yeah, so Eric, if you're looking for citizenship, it starts with African ancestry. All right, unless you plan on moving to Sierra Leone and being a resident for 5 years, 5 or 6 years. It starts with African ancestry. If you went the expedited route. For residency, start a business. For the most part, you should be able to apply for it. Let's see here, guys. Invite. No, wrong button. Share. Oh, here we go. Yes, BlackRock's home buying spree should concern you. So, guys, we're where we're at now in the housing market. I don't know if you guys remember, like, right after the crash, or after the crash in '08, once everything started to kind of, even before the crash, during the crash, and really after the crash, between, I would say, like, after, once everything started to stabilize and back out, I would say from 2012 to about 2017, 2018, you would see these, offers. We'll buy your house cash. Don't get real estate. I buy houses in any condition. We'll pay cash. Um, you know, what else? What else? What else? Don't use a real estate agent. The people, investors were calling you, hey, I'll buy your house cash. What they were doing, they were trying to find people who were pressed, who wanted to hurry up and get out of their homes, and these investors would offer them like half the market value or half the value of the home, and then they'll flip it, sell it, or hold on to it, rent it out, whatever. If you notice, you don't really see a lot of those signs up anymore. I'm gonna tell you why. Now you have companies like BlackRock, all right, who has over $9 trillion in assets. Again, who has $9 trillion in assets, who are pretty much calling people, say, hey, how much is your house worth? 450,000? Okay, we'll give you 470,000. No problem. So these little shady investors, these low-level shady investors who were, buying grandma's house for, 50 and 75% below market value, they're gone now. They pretty much disappeared, because now you got BlackRock that's like, look, grandma, we'll give you what you want for your house and more. And we'll give you cash. We'll settle right now. No problem. No issue. Hell, we don't even need to come look at your house. We don't even need to come inspect it. Well, no problem. We'll take it right now off your hands. No problem. That's what's going on. The little low level, shady, novice investor, they're getting eliminated. Now you got corporations like BlackRock who are buying up these houses, these properties. I'm going to read through this article. Yes, BlackRock's home buying spree should concern you. The general public doesn't normally look into companies like BlackRock, the largest asset management firm on the planet, with over $9 trillion in assets. That's higher than the GDP of every nation in the world other than the United States and China. We don't normally look into them because they're invisible to normies like us. They don't advertise or have their name on a sports stadium like most other major companies. They're happy to stay as under the radar as is possible for a company so huge. But some in the general public is paying attention now following the resurfacing of an April Wall Street Journal article that chronicles BlackRock and other money institutions buying up single family homes as quickly as they can at rates higher than the average home buyer is willing to pay. So this is what you're competing with. They're buying them up at a premium, and that should concern everyone, whether you're in the market to buy a home or not. Let's talk about the non-conspiratorial issues in play first. This will have three instant effects on the market and the economy. First, it is already making it harder in a scarce market for home buyers to make a purchase. Gosh, you don't understand how competitive it is out here for buying homes right now, especially in Atlanta. In my neighborhood, there's a home. I need to check the MLS to see if it closed already. Not around, like a couple blocks from me. On the market in my neighborhood, $750K. Somebody made an offer $150,000 above asking price for 900K. Again, listing price 750K. Someone offered 150K above asking price. And I know a lot of people are like, well, Dynas, what if it doesn't appraise for that much? These people don't care. They're not financing these homes. They're paying straight cash. They don't care. This will have three. We're at that part. Second, it is driving up prices in a self-replicating fashion. The more BlackRock and others overpay for homes, the higher home prices go up. Hey, I'm a homeowner, so that's good for me. Last but certainly not least, they're causing a shift from home ownership to renting. Listen, I feel sorry. So I was driving. I don't live too far from like Spellhouse, from Morehouse, Spellman, and Clark, Atlanta. Like I don't live too far from there. My favorite, one of my favorite Jamaican restaurant is That Fire Jerk Chicken on Northside Drive. And depending where I'm coming from, I usually always cut through Spellman, Morehouse, whatever. I cut through their campus to get to Northside Drive. So I was driving, headed there, and Spellman students were protesting. And their signs were saying that they were holding up, we pay $50K a year and we don't have housing. And I'm just saying, do these kids know what they're getting themselves into, going $50,000 in debt per year? Like 4 years, that's $200K in debt. Damn near. So you're going to be $200K in debt, which when you're applying for a home loan goes against your debt, a percentage of it. Then on top of that, the home prices are so high, and the wages that you're going to make coming out of college isn't going to be enough to afford a home. So I'm like, you're paying $200,000 for a 4-year degree. I'm like, where are you going to buy a home at? Where are you going to live at? Rents are going up. A decent 1-bedroom apartment now in Atlanta, that's you're looking at $1,500-$1,600. I mean, you could find, you could rent a house in the suburbs of Atlanta. A decent one, you're looking at $2,500. Decent. You get a cheaper one, with linoleum floors. I can't stand linoleum floors. That's going to be $1,600-$1,700 a month. But that's in the outskirts of Atlanta. In Atlanta, you're looking at $2,500 to $3,500. I mean, you're looking at the minimum. In Atlanta, $2,700 to rent a home. One bedroom apartment, decent one, $1,700 in Atlanta. If you go to the outskirts, you're looking at $1,500 for something decent. Let's see here. Now let's get more conspiratorial. And when I use the phrase conspiracy theory, I'm not using it as a pejorative. Guys, listen. Listen, these conspiracy theories are becoming true now. These conspiracy theories are now becoming true. The last conspiracy theory that I'm waiting for to be fulfilled is the day I lay my eyes on aliens. The day I see an alien coming into a spaceship, an alien spaceship coming into our atmosphere, I'm like, man, I got to apologize to Alex Jones. If 2020 and 2021 have taught us anything, it's that we need to take conspiracies seriously because they're happening right before our eyes. A thread by Twitter conservative Cultural Husbandry broke it down nicely. BlackRock, listen to this. BlackRock is buying every single family house they could find, paying 20 to 50% above asking price. Guys, you have no idea what's going on out here. and outbidding normal home buyers. Why are corporations, pension funds, and property investment groups buying entire neighborhoods out from under the middle class? Let's take a look. Homes are popping up on MLS and going under contract within a few hours. BlackRock, among others, are buying up thousands of new homes in entire neighborhoods. So, who is BlackRock? Only the world's largest asset manager and a leading proponent of the Great Reset. They're looking to redistribute, get this, $120 trillion, the entire wealth of the world's middle class and poor combined several times over. As an example, 124 new home neighborhood was bought in its entirety in Texas. Average Americans were outbid to a tune of $32 million. Homes sold at an average of 20% above listing. Now, the entire neighborhood is made up of SFRs. What are SFRs? Single family rentals. Guys, hit that like button again. Please hit the like button as you come to the chat room. I shouldn't have to tell you guys to remind you guys to hit the like button. That should just come natural. Hit the like button. Single family rentals. Now, your potential lower to middle class homeowner is positioned to be a permanent renter. Golly, that's crazy. But listen, I have some good news. If you want to buy and own a home, Baltimore, Louisville, Kentucky, Toledo, Ohio, Gary, Indiana. If you're so-called middle class, that's probably where you got to go, because Atlanta, it's a wrap. Again, Gary, Indiana, Baltimore, Toledo, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky. If you're so-called, if you're single like me and listen, when I bought my home in 2014, making good money, was making six figures on my sales job, was able to get into this home, pay $185 for it, had to put three. If I did choose to go FHA, but the maximum I was approved for, listen, I have no college debt, only have a car note, and at the time I had no credit card debt. I think I was approved, the maximum was like $365,000, and I was making six figures, clearing $100,000. In fact, let me back up. I was clearing $100,000 before taxes. After taxes, after Uncle Sam, did his thing to me, pause, maybe like $80,000. And that's what I was approved for. Maximum like $350,000 with 3.5% down. Now, I could have put down more if need be, but I would have had to take money out of my 401k to do that. And guess what? When you take your own money out of your own 401k, they still count that against you because you have to repay that money back. So it's kind of like you have to repay debt, so it goes against you. So I'm like, now I just wonder who's buying these homes. It's crazy out here. So I mean, the average person, college degree, they got college debt, they got this debt, that debt. Thank God I wasn't on child support at the time. So if you got child support obligations, if you pay alimony, yeah, it's a different game out here. Single family rentals. Now your potential lower to middle class homeowner is positioned to be a permanent renter. This matters because for the lower and middle class, owning a home is the most major part of any financial success and future upward mobility. This is wealth redistribution, and it ain't rich people's wealth that was getting redistributed. That's why they be honest. We gonna tax the rich. Nah, bro, they're coming after you, middle class. Is normal American middle class salt of the earth wealth heading into the hands of the world's most powerful entities and individuals the traditional financial vehicle gone forever. Home equity is the main financial element that middle class families use to build wealth. That's true because my $185,000 house, I could probably sell it as is right now, for like 600 racks maybe. Home equity is the main financial element that middle class families use to build wealth, and BlackRock, a Federal Reserve funded financial institution, is buying up all the houses to make sure that young families can build wealth. I believe it. That's right. Federal Reserve funded financial institute. Let that sink in for a minute. Got it? They're using your tax dollars to F over the lower and middle class, and it's permanent. Now, one presidential administration of Bull S, this is a fundamental reorganization of society. So, where does this position the average American in 30 years when it's a given that every new neighborhood is to be brought up whole so they can be utilized as single family rentals? It positions them as peasants. Being poor can be temporary conditioned better by upward mobility. In the US and other nations, home ownership is often the first and most vital step. This can provide for generational wealth and success. But as permanent guaranteed renters, you're pissing away a lifetime of equity in the chance for mobility. You just become a peasant. The Great Reset is real. It's happening. This will be the greatest transfer of wealth and the greatest consolidation of power in the history of mankind. If they get away with it, revolution will be the only cure. It will be awful. Wake up, get active, stop this now. All right, let's see here. What else we got here? Here we go. BlackRock is buying every single family house they can find, paying 20 to 50% above asking price. Listen, I told someone my number is $1 million. If somebody called the BlackRock calls me right now. If BlackRock calls me right now and says, Mr. Amir, Mr. Dynast Abefe Adewale Amir, we'll give you $1 million for your home right now. I'll be packing up right now as we speak during the middle of this stream. My number's $1 million. You give me $1 million, I'm dipping. And BlackRock calls me right now during this stream. They call my phone. They call my phone during this stream. They offer me $1 million. Y'all, we stopping the stream. I'm out. Packing up right now. And I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna need some of y'all. In fact, I won't even need to call you guys to help me pack. I'll just go ahead and pay a professional moving company. I'm gone. Listen, I'm gone. Shout out to Brandon. Go ahead and bring Brandon on real quick. Hey, go ahead, Brandon.
All right, so I see where you're going with this. I understand where you're going. For one, I don't believe in the Great Reset. The Great Reset is just bullshit. The 1% of America already has the majority of the wealth. So what are they resetting to? To the same system we have right now? Oh, this is going to be the biggest transfer of wealth. Bullshit, Dynast. They already have all the money. They're printing the money. So they got all controls over the money. Then I ask everyone to ask themselves a question. Who are they buying these houses from? One thing we love to do is absolve the people of
Brandon, not to interject. You made a great point. Who are they buying the houses from? People look like me and you.
We're selling, but complaining about who's buying, right? We're selling. My grandma left my aunt her house. My aunt, before it was even a month, Dynast, I'm telling you, I rode up to my grandma's house. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go talk to my auntie real quick about the house. As I rolled up, Mexicans that was already moving their stuff in the house. Less than a month after my grandma died, right? My aunt couldn't wait to get rid of the house. Very nice house, very nice neighborhood, beautiful neighborhood. Used to be an all-black neighborhood. Black people had an agreement that they would only sell to each other, etc. That agreement got broken up, but the neighborhood was still very, very nice. My aunt lives in a 1-bedroom apartment that she rents in Compton. Supposedly, she's a teacher. She's always in school. I'm in school, whatever. She sold the house for pennies on the dollar just to get the money, and she's already broke again. They're buying it from us. Okay, this whole thing, this is capitalism. This is capitalism. And what you're seeing right now is for the first time in history, Black people have had to stop and pay attention to the laws and function of capitalism. And we don't like it. Our grandparents, our great grandparents, they were capitalists. They worked hard for what they wanted, and they went out and they saved their money, they invested in the things they wanted, right? We live in the fast food restaurant culture. We want to go spend $40 and $50 a day, sometimes more, to go eat at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, Sizzler, Bojangles, and all that stuff. That's where we see value in consumerism, right? If your grandparents are like mine, my grandfather was hella frugal. He was very cheap. He would spend money on the big things that we needed, but the day-to-day little stupid knickknacks, just waste some money. No, we ate at home. We didn't go out every damn day. We would go out on Sunday after church. That's it. We don't live like that anymore. We want something else. So what we want to do is shame BlackRock for doing what's in its best interest according to the laws of capitalism. We vote for people who empower companies like BlackRock. BlackRock ain't buying nothing that ain't for sale. And if we wasn't able to sell the house, we'd be complaining about that. Oh, there ain't no market. The seller's market is terrible. There's nothing here.
Hey, repeat that again. It ain't no what, mom.
There
It
ain't
ain't no
no
what.
market. There ain't no market. The seller's market is terrible. So what we want is we want to have things both ways. We are moving towards a society that is crying out for socialist reform. We forget that Hitler was a socialist. We forget that Stalin was a socialist. We forget that Mussolini was a socialist. Fascism is like comes from socialism, right? That's what it comes from. And like Margaret Thatcher said, one of the greatest quotes of all time, the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. Let's tax the rich. Let's tax the rich. Look, bro, the rich work for their money. They deserve to spend their money on what they want to spend it on, and they deserve to be taxed at a rate the same as everybody else as far as I'm concerned. You don't want to work. You want to be a bum. You don't want to do the extras. Let me tell you, I set a goal for myself. I want to make $100 before 12 o'clock every day. I've been living up to that goal. You know what I'm saying? I said, look, I want to make $100 every day before 12 o'clock. Not YouTube, not nothing like that, just of my own volition. You know what I found? I found an app called Instacart. I live in between 4 different grocery stores. I could turn that app on in my living room, and by the time 12 o'clock comes, I done rolled on my electric scooter, did like 5, 6 deliveries or 7 deliveries, and made $100 or more dollars, especially if they have a bonus, right? So I've been making $100 before 12 o'clock every day. Then I do my YouTube and all that stuff. We don't do that anymore, Diners. We want to go work for BlackRock, but complain about BlackRock when BlackRock does what it takes so that it can be a profitable company. Black people, period, but I'm going to just aim this at Black people because that's who's watching. Shut the hell up. Stop being hypocritical. You can't have it both ways. What corporation do you work for? They're doing all types of shady stuff or things that you might feel is unethical, but you don't care because every Friday there's a check in your bank account from that company. So don't shame BlackRock. Don't shame um don't shame Lockheed Martin. Don't shame Boeing. Don't shame anybody because we're all complicit. We want these companies to do this because we want to keep getting our paycheck. We're not like our ancestors. Go start our own business and do direct competition with these corporations. We want to get a job up under the corporation nuts, then complain about what the corporation is doing as long as it don't impact our check. You can't keep doing that, man. This is capitalism 101. It's very good because let me tell you something. BlackRock is assuming all of the risk on those properties. Some of those properties are crap, total crap. People don't take care of their stuff. So if there's a housing bubble that bursts, guess who takes the loss? BlackRock. So what you should be doing is saving your damn money because this bubble's going to eventually burst like they all do. And BlackRock will be selling those same houses for damn near what they got them for, if not half of what they got them for. So prepare for the future instead of complaining about the present and romanticizing the past.
Hey, Brad, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think there's gonna be a bubble when it comes to this housing market because of companies like BlackRock or these institutional investors. I don't think it's gonna happen.
There's always a bubble, Dynast, because when you are when you have an imbalance in assets versus demand, like supply versus demand, this is economics 101. They're buying up all the supply while there's a big
Yeah,
demand.
but they're renting. That's the thing. They're not trying to sell. They're long-term holders. They're renting, so they don't care.
Right, but guess what? If people don't rent, see, you can, Dynast, this is the thing you got to always
Bro,
factor
people
in.
are gonna have to stay somewhere. They're gonna have to rent.
No, listen, Dynast, what you got to understand is there's a lot of land in America. You can always build a house anywhere you want to. So there will always be houses being built. Those houses will be marked at a certain price. There's plenty of land, plenty of houses, plenty of building materials. There's gonna be a bubble there because what they're paying for the houses is more than they're worth. There's not a house in Atlanta that's worth over $500,000, if you ask me, unless it's sitting on 10 acres of land, right? And that's what it's all about. Perception is reality. If people don't see the value in something, they won't buy. If somebody rents a house, eventually they're going to say, hey, why rent a house when I can go rent an apartment? My kids graduated. I'm moving out of this house. There's going to be a bubble, bro. And renting is not all bad. There's a lot of perks to renting. A lot of people prefer to rent. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have to take on the responsibilities of home ownership. You
But
don't
Brandon,
really.
that argument, the responsibilities of home ownership, it's like it's. I mean, okay, I gotta get my grass cut. Okay, there's a leak, I gotta pay it. Like I think the benefits of
What if you
owning
got to do your
outweigh the
plumbing?
overall risk.
Say you hear a knock in the wall and you got to redo your whole plumbing. How much is that?
Say it one more time.
Say you hear a knock in the wall and you got to redo your whole plumbing, like what we had to do.
Oh, if you got insurance, you got insurance. Insurance take care of it.
Yeah, you got insurance, but what if you just said, "Oh, I'm not gonna get that insurance. I'm gonna let it slide. I pay. I didn't. You know what I'm saying?" And there's a lot of insurances that don't even cover that.
Hey, well, okay. How much is that? How much was that to fix, Brandon?
$6,000. And not saying that that's a lot, like a whole lot of money, but everyone's not meant for home ownership, Diners. It's not even just the repairs. A lot of people can't even maintain their own life. How they gonna maintain a house? You know, with a house, there's certain things you got to do to care for a house. Put a new roof on every so often. You know, you got to make sure it looks good. It's kept up. A house is not just, oh, it's a house. And let me tell you something, Diners. Why you think you go around the country and a lot of black folks' house look like it's in disrepair?
You got a point.
Come on, because we're not really, a lot of us are not good at consistently doing anything. And a lot of us is trying to rub two nickels together and don't have the money to redo the gutters and stuff like that. And that's why you go to a lot of black folks' house and it's dirty on the outside and it's dirty on the inside. It's messed up on the outside and dirty on the inside. All I'm saying is this: we voted for this. We are in a capitalist society based on competition. It ain't even worth complaining about it because this is what we support. You see the stuff Joe Biden and them is doing. It's obvious. It's in the news. Have black people came out? They just did the new numbers. 92% of us voted for Joe Biden. Have you heard one black person come out against Joe Biden? You lied to us. You a swindler. You a fraud.
Nah, bro, they quiet as a church
They
mouse.
kissing his ass still, Van Jones and everybody, quiet as a church house mouse. We don't care. We're stubborn in our ignorance. We want this to happen. We love the pain. We love the pain, bro. We love because black people have been so totally consumed by trauma. We identify with it. If we're not getting shitted on, we don't even know that we're alive. The pain is what let us know that we exist. So we vote for it. We advocate for it. This is what we want. So why complain? Just let it happen to you. Because you know why? You keep choosing it. Every day you're given a choice between life and death. You choose to die. You choose to live, like Les Brown called it, quiet. What was it called? Quiet desperation. That's what we like, the quiet desperation. We're not gonna say nothing, but we just gonna silently keep making the choices that undermine everything prosperity for our people. We could move to Africa, Dynasty. I don't really give a damn about America's home market because I go to Africa and get me a cheap apartment and build me a house for pennies on the dollar. We don't want that. We want to stay here, FDA, ADOS, cut the check, hold your own nuts. So why complain? Black people have given one loud message loud and clear. We don't give a damn about nothing but cut the check and voting for Democrats.
Yeah, guys, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. All right, we're gonna move to the next topic. But if you want to call in and speak on, the housing situation, that's fine. Brandon, Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. Two black men fighting on national TV. Well, one black man fighting, I guess, on national TV.
That's the
Meanwhile, the lead up to the Oscars, black folks have been crying. These actors have been crying and whining about Oscars so white. How does that make us look?
no. Here we go. Here we go. This is now the new definition of protecting your family. Going to brutalize another black person, protecting your family. The same black folks who get on here every day and tell me, Brandon, you're so harsh. Why are you talking like that to me? You can't take someone talking to you with coarse words. But you talking about that man going up there slapping that man is protecting your family. Diners, all we do is make ourselves look like hypocrites over and over. That's why nobody take us serious. We don't even know what we want. Will Smith ain't never protected his family. If you look at his kids, if you look at how his family is in dysfunction, protection starts in the house. Protection starts in la casa. You know what I'm saying? That's not protected, but causing a damn scene at an award show is protecting your family because that's what black folks value. We want theatrics. We want entertainment. We want ignorant displays of we want public displays of ignorance. That's what we want to be defined by, right? But let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing. What did you gain from him slapping Chris Rock? That man got up there and thanked the Academy. He didn't thank black people. He didn't think, hey, I want this for my people. You know what I'm saying? We've been under a lot of pressure. It means so much for one of us to get one of these because somebody knows they can do it. No, no. I'd like to thank the white Academy and this other white guy and that white guy and that white guy. Oh, yeah, we're going to let that dude, an elitist, the 1% who we talk about, the 1%, the 1%, that guy gets to define what the definition, what it means to protect your family for black people. You can't complain about these people, then let these people establish code for you. You can't complain about these people, then sit up and talk about they're defining who we are as a people. He was wrong. He deserved to get his ass beat, honestly. Just like Shannon Sharp said, just like all the people on the media been saying, there's no excuse. I haven't heard one black man in public eye, in the public forum, who say, oh, that's okay. It was okay for him to do that, except for some degenerate rappers, Tiffany Haddish, just people are dysfunctional. Oh, sometimes you got to do this and you got to teach a and all that stuff. Look, lady, you can't even find a man. So how you know what a man supposed to do? My wife said straight up, you're not gonna go on stage embarrassing us. You know what I'm saying? The guys would have thought. Oh, and now what they said, Diners, is, oh, you guys love the term male dysfunctional women. So now it's Jada fault that Will went up in there and did that. So on one side of their mouth, they're talking about we can't blame Jada for what happened. Out the other side of their mouth, they talking about Will was protecting his family.
Kelda, go ahead and unmute yourself. But Kelda, there's some feedback. But go ahead and unmute yourself, Kelda. Kelda.
Hello?
Yo, Kelda. Kelda. Hey, Kelda, leave out and call back in. There's some feedback going on your end. All right, let's see here. James, go ahead, James. Unmute yourself, James.
Hey, brothers, how y'all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Hey, Brandon, good to see you again, brother. I was just on Brandon's show. We had a deep discussion about this. So I actually came up with something that I want you guys' opinion. So Hollywood operates on subliminals, right? So when I looked at the joke, and this is what popped in my mind, that Chris Rock, said or stated, First off, a lot of people don't realize that Chris Rock doesn't write the jokes for the Oscars. They actually have writers for jokes. Number two, the reference of G.I. Jane is actually a very good movie. And for many of us who know how Miss Jada displays a lot of masculine.
And not to cut you off, but I never seen it. It was actually a good movie.
No, it is in a sense, and I'll tell you why.
It's a great movie.
It is, and I'll tell you why. It in many senses, right? You got to think about it. So if we're gonna go by the empowerment, right, or an idea of strong feminism, you could say G.I. Jane has a great reflection of that. Brendan, if you agree, disagree, you know what I'm saying, you can speak on it. But so when I seen the reference, which a lot of people, I don't know why they took it insulting, it's basically a woman trying out for a special operations team. She shaves her head, and as everyone knows, if you've been in the military or any law enforcement agency, they break you down and build you back up, right? So we look at the situation with, Miss Pinkett. She reflects a lot of masculine energy. That's why she was in the Matrix. She did a little action joint. So when I seen the subliminal, like, oh, G.I. Jane 2, I thought it was, oh, that's Hollywood saying we about to put you on, right? But then she rolled her eyes, got real sarcastic with the face, and Will got that little battery pack. Didn't even think, like, damn, Hollywood's already low-key trying to, you know what I'm saying, put my wifey on, because we already know she's been struggling or she's been fighting to be in Hollywood screens, right? And that point that really showed me that Jada is a detriment to that man's health and also a detriment to Hollywood productions.
Whoa! You just figured that out like
No, I
last
don't
night?
think I think it put the nail in the coffin, because Hollywood likes to, think about it. We were the PR.
Hey, listen, Jason, I feel where you're coming from, but have you ever saw the show The Boondocks?
Yes.
Remember when the Boondocks had the episode about having a nigga moment?
Yes.
We've watched this play out in our communities a million times. But
Yes.
all of a sudden, because we have the internet, we're big thinkers, it's conspiracy. It ain't no conspiracy. Will Smith's ego felt insulted. His ego is already in, on life support after his wife been busted open for August Alsina. No telling who else in Hollywood, right?
Facts.
Now he's at the award show. You know what I'm saying? Chris Rock up there doing his thing. Will laughing and joking. It's all great and shit. All of a sudden, he says something about Jada being bald. Will storms the stage. Some people say it's fake. Some people say it's acted, whatever. The whole point is what we witnessed was a basic nigga moment. The police were involved. Chris Rock decided not to press charges. He didn't want to give them what they wanted, right? One, black people shouldn't even be caring about this, really. It ain't even that important for us to really care.
I disagree on that one.
Okay. It doesn't change the meter for us one way or another one. It doesn't move it politically. You ain't getting reparations out of it. You're not getting nothing out of it. You just getting something to talk about. You're getting something that you want, right?
Yeah.
The point I'm making is this. Will Smith had a nigga moment. You know what I'm saying? He refuses to do what he really needs to do to fix where his mental state and, his situation at home, which is ultimately the root cause of all this. That's just what it is. Stink meaner versus grandpa, dude. That's all it is.
But I mean, this is why I say, and to answer Donis's question, I think if we were the PR people for the Smiths, right, after the table talk, I have a feeling we all would have pulled them in and said we need to have a real discussion on the future of how this family is going to be represented, right? Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of money at stake. You still, you know what I'm saying, you're still active in Hollywood. It's one thing if you weren't active in Hollywood, then we can find a way that, you know what I'm saying, whether this,
who needs to pull them in?
No, I'm saying if we were the PRs, right? After the whole table talk thing, because they're still active in Hollywood as consultants, right? The problem is, and it's very clear, that Will is still emotionally unstable around this woman. And I wouldn't be surprised, and Donis, you tell me if you were a consultant for the Smiths, would you not? And I'm saying, I'm speaking from my perspective. I would have told him, you need to remove this woman from your brand.
I would have told him the same thing.
Because,
I would have told him the same thing. But but the issue is in we have this. I know some of the sisters are going to get mad, but I don't subscribe to it. We got to protect black women by all means necessary. So no
and
matter and with that, and the women who yell this the most are the most toxic, unaccountable, um, put themselves in harm's way. They're the ones yelling this the most. And so I
facts.
think that's the issue. Like,
The
we gotta.
minute the minute Jada Pickett, whatever her name is, bent over for August Alsina, had that boy up in their house under false pretenses, right? She voided her protection plan. I'm telling you, black men today, you don't have to respect, you don't have to protect no woman who don't respect you as a man. Protection and respect is earned by everybody. Period. I don't care who don't like me. I don't care why. I don't care what a broke, penniless, lonely chick have to say about nothing. I walk past her like she's Casper, the friendly ghost. These women go take a Yoni Steam class and a couple of ancient Sumerian witchcraft classes, and all of a sudden they think they're qualified to run point for our people. You don't lead this community. We do. Shut up. Go sit somewhere until you're knowledgeable enough to talk. And the women I feel are knowledge. I feel. I'm gonna say what I feel because this is what matters to me. The women who are qualified to teach are the ones who have done the things that we claim we want to do. If you haven't done what all these black folks are saying they want to do, you're not qualified to speak. If I wasn't a married man who'd been married for over a decade, I wouldn't even be talking about this. But I am. So guess what I'm gonna tell you? Ain't no woman worth protecting who don't realize you like the police. When say something going down, they robbing the bank. You call the cops. When the cops get there, the cops tell you, shut the hell up and get on the ground. They shooting. We got to get them. You know what your punk ass better do? You better shut the hell up and get on the ground. Because one of the main criteria to be protected is two things. One, acknowledging the right of the person who's protecting you to lead. The second thing is to be obedient to their instruction, which helps them protect you. If you don't want to do that, guess what? You have already told us loud and clear, I don't want you to protect me, which is what Jada Pinkett did when she bent over for August Alsina. I'm sure Will didn't say, baby, I want you to have these young boys in the house busting it open for him. You know what I'm saying?
well,
He didn't say that.
well, this is the thing, man. Let's be honest here. August was probably not the first, and August was probably the most transparent, right?
No, August was the one who came in as, oh, I'm Jaden's friend.
No,
I'm
that's what I'm
Jaden.
saying. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. August.
Hold
that
on.
caught Will off guard.
Hold on. Let me interject real quick. Keisha, Brandon's wife is on the platform all the time. In fact, Brandon's wife might be in the room listening in. So I just want to put that on record. But go ahead, Brandon. Then we're gonna pass it to Sheila. Go ahead, Brandon.
This one caught Will off. August caught Will off guard, and you could tell. Look, some dudes like to get freaky with their lady, do some swinger stuff and stuff like that. But the whole thing with that is, yo, they know that she's doing it. She
No, no.
knows that he's doing it. This caught this man off guard because this man came in as a friend of their son. She was supposed to be mentoring. Diners, when someone say they're mentoring you, which the whole idea of mentorship is rooted in pedophilia, if you really look at the ancient Greek roots of that. But when someone says they're mentoring someone, Diners, you have a mentor. Do you expect to have a sexual relationship with your mentor?
No, no, no.
See what I'm saying? She lied, bro. She deceived. She was deceptive. She
No,
was
I get
deceptive.
that.
She was deceptive about her intentions, and she was deceptive about what she did. And when she first did it, she didn't go to her husband and say, "Look, babe, I made a mistake. You know, things got heated. You know, me and August, we both emotionally unstable, and we did it. We boned each other."
No,
She kept doing it. She caught
well,
him off guard, and that's what hurt him.
well, that's what I'm saying, brother. Like, and this is what I said. August was the most transparent. You can't, for Jada has probably displayed way more outlandish things that has not been publicized, right? Until obviously she got too comfortable. And we know what happens when women get very comfortable. It's just like when they get comfortable with weight and they still think they're beautiful, right? So it's just one of those things that I think at the end of the day, if for women to actually still support Miss Pinkett's behavior and say that, you know, she still needs to be protected, I think they need to really assert themselves in the sense where if they had sons or if they Will Smith was their son, would they, you know what I'm saying, accept that woman as his spouse? But go ahead, Sheila. I don't want to take up too much time.
Sheila, go ahead and unmute yourself, Sheila. Sheila, unmute yourself.
Hi, Dinus. How are you?
Good. You're very low. Hold on. Let me go ahead.
So I wanted to, is that better?
It's better. Go ahead.
I wanted to comment on two issues. The first about housing. You know, I just actually purchased a house in the DC metro area, and I purchased my home.
Hey, Sheila, is there like a fan on in the background or like water running or
No,
something in
let
the
me actually see if I can just hold on one second. Is that better?
Oh, it sounds like it's like an air conditioning or something going on in the background. But go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, there's not. There's probably just like wind because I'm sitting next to my window. But
Yeah, it must be wind.
yeah, it's very windy out here. But
Yeah,
I
can you close
purchased.
it? Can you close your window? Is that okay? Or is it,
I
you
did.
know,
I just did.
okay, all right, go ahead.
But I can hear the wind myself because I have like these shutters. But anyhow, I just purchased in the DC metro area, and I purchased in November at a time
It
when
sounds like she in the bathroom, like the toilet running.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like you're in the bathroom, like the water's running.
Get
But
out the
go ahead.
bathroom, Sheila.
there's no water running. I'm surprised that.
Just go ahead. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish. Let her finish. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me actually see what I can do. If there's
No,
any.
no, no, Sheila, go ahead. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, so I purchased my home, and there was just some things that I was thinking about with this whole like housing discussion that takes place in Black America. Um, you know, when I purchased my home, I, to be honest, made sure that I had like the down payment. This wasn't something that just happened overnight. This was something that I did over like a period of time. I mean, like years. I wasn't even certain if I was interested in purchasing when I decided to purchase. But all of that to say, I worked on my credit. I made sure that everything was in place so that when I did find the home that I was interested in, I was like a rock star to the bank and had no issues getting like the best terms for my loan, the best rate, all of those things. And as someone who has like I already had a property with my family that I, you know, co-owned and things of that nature, but just I have rented like in luxury rentals for like ages, to be honest, and really enjoyed living in those rentals, but it's not sustainable because what happens is as the years go on, it just gets more and more expensive. And thankfully for me, I was able to afford to live where I was living, but I was just kind of like, I wanted it to be like my cost of living to go a little lower. And I knew that making an investment and getting something that I really wanted and being able to lock in a fixed interest rate would ultimately benefit me in the long run. So I guess what I'm getting at is I never quite understand the argument of renting is just, it's easier, it's preferable, it's something that people should do because you are essentially making another person rich. Now, if you're just moving to a new city and you want to explore, you know, a particular area for a year, 2, 3 years, you're not sure where you want to live, you need to get a sense of the community. I would definitely suggest that you rent because it's not long term. But if you know that you and your family are going to be in an area for more than 10 years, or you plan on living in a community for more than 10 years, I would say set down roots, because when you purchase in an area, you will not be displaced if other people decide that that area is going to become like the up and coming hot area when developers start coming in and they're building out. So you have some sort of assurance over the long run. And that was kind of my first point. Just, I think that we have to go back to really focusing on home ownership, not even for the purpose of appreciation. I think that's great. My, home has already appreciated greatly in the short time that I've owned it. That's wonderful. But I think just the stability aspect, and especially if people have children, you give your children like a foundation. So just for those reasons alone, I think it's important to have your home. And also, you don't have to worry about the landlord increasing your rent. You don't really have to defer to that other person. You take that person out of the equation. Yes, if you have a mortgage, you do still have to deal with the bank. But the good news is you could also decide to make double payments and ultimately pay off your home in maybe 10, 12 years. So you have many options at your disposal when you actually own. Um, the next point was really about the whole Will Smith debacle. As I see it, I kind of see all of these people as just on a stage, whether they're physically on the stage acting or they're off stage. They're actors at the end of the day. And I think we have to keep that at the forefront of our minds. We can't really take these people seriously. The fact that they're able to garner so much attention and have people discussing the Oscars, that was literally, no one cared about the Oscars. Like no one even tuned in. And they were able to garner so many views just based on that. Another thing that I want to bring to people's attention, Will Smith's movie King Arthur, or whatever the name was, about this Serena and her sister, it bombed at the box office because obviously of the illness, the virus. I won't say it on your program. It just did not do well. They paid Will Smith nearly $40 million. And the movie actually, and you can do the research to get the actual numbers, but they were so gung-ho on having someone like Will Smith that they were willing to pay him, I'd say 90% of their budget to make the movie. And so Will Smith actually had to go back and use the monies that he received to pay some of the staff because they were short. HBO has some sort of linkage to the movie. I think they're the ones that are going to be distributing it on their site so you can go and watch it. He was not in the black because there was no profit made. He was in the red. And so it kind of leads me to believe, and this is something that I don't think your average person knows how this type of thing works, but I'm going to try to describe it to you because I have worked in marketing, but it's one of those things where he needed to generate, I think, a buzz because he has this Oscar now that they have given him, but the movie just did not do well.
Hey, let's see if I can interject real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Hold on, get my focus back. All right, there we go. So the Oscars made a statement, the Academy or whatever made a statement today that Will might lose that Oscar.
They're saying that, but if you look at the actual like media footage, and this is the real funny aspect of it, anytime they report on, like, if you just Google kind of like Will Smith and like the whole slap thing, you'll see a side story about the actual movie. There will be a reference to the actual movie. And so I say that to say, when people are looking at one story, the other one pops up about the movie. And so that garners some sort of interest for people now to possibly that did not check out that movie to go check out the movie that's streaming on HBO. Another thing that it did, in my personal opinion, Black women weren't really thinking about Will Smith like that. And now he is being kind of indirectly and directly perceived as this like family man, alpha male. And I think that is
it's kind of split it's kind of split down the middle. A lot of sisters are like, nah, that was
okay. So it's split up. Okay, but the point that I'm trying to make is,
and then Sheila, the women who are kind of looking at him as an alpha male are the women that are like Jada. They have that, like, they're like the Jadas, the Tiffany Haddishes, real dysfunctional, don't bring home the mama, but Will brought his Jada home to his mama.
Okay.
Like that those type of women, like who are, like
No, I see
you
your
just
point. I see your point.
you want a man to defend your fuckery. Those are the type of women who are defending. Hey, Brandon, you got a lot of feedback,
That's
Brandon.
not me.
You got a lot of that. Those are the type of women I hear the most who are the loudest. Are the women team protect all black women at all costs. The women who get involved in a lot of fuckery who want men to come and protect them. Those are the women who are looking at Will like an alpha. But go ahead.
An alpha. But my ultimate point with that is, like, as they say in show business, like there's no such thing as bad publicity. Like, publicity is publicity. So at the end of the day, what I'm going to be checking for in the next, I'd say, 2 weeks, to see if there was any impact on the amount of money that they're able to make, HBO is able to garner now as a result of all of this. Like, if that has changed anything. And my guess is that with this latest like buzz and everything that's going on, I do think that there is going to be an increased interest in Will Smith. People that haven't really checked out the movie, because they're even referencing now that he had smacked someone in the movie. See, this is what I mean, like the underhanded kind of situation where they're like, the slap that he did to Chris Rock, was that a foretelling, because he did the same slap in the movie, and all of this other stuff. So again, they're linking that movie to the performance that was put on stage to a certain degree, I think, to kind of garner interest. I could be wrong, but I don't take any of these people in Hollywood seriously. And I think for myself, one thing that has helped me is to really tune these people out. Not, as someone had pointed out, when he won the award, he thanked the Academy, because that is who he is ultimately beholden to. That is who he answers to, in the sense of that's their world. It's not the average person. It's not Black people. That's really not the concern. So it's kind of like, why do we then take these people at face value and kind of act and pretend as if these people represent us when they do not? And I get it that on face value, it looked bad, because you have these two Black men that are supposed to represent a certain level of elite Black men, right? In terms of what they have been able to do, at least within their respective fields, and to behave in that manner on like the world stage, it is embarrassing. But that is also, I think, a part of it. It could have also been possibly a humiliation ritual. Like I said, he didn't meet the numbers, so who knows? There's all of these different types of possibilities,
This,
but the
this is
bottom
a
line
classic.
for me
This is
is
a
that
classic
he's screaming out.
example of. This is a classic example of female double-mindedness. It's like you're just contradicting yourself. I don't care, but all I care about this. I'm gonna check on it for 2 weeks. Oh, it could be a ritual, but I don't care about it. But it could be this in the Academy, but I don't care about it. But it could be, this is the real. You care.
No,
Women
I
love
don't. But
gossip.
what I'm saying is to test my theory. So what I care
But if
about,
you didn't care, why is there a theory?
because my brother
If
called
you
me and
told us we shouldn't be paying attention to this stuff. These people are basically of no consequence. But then we gotta see what I'm saying. Like you gotta
no,
have
so
a
what I'm
message
saying is
that's
I'm not going to
cohesive.
be looking at the actual headlines. I'm going to be looking at the numbers.
But you just told us about the headlines and was like, if you read the headlines and look at the articles, you'll notice that they reference back to the movie, and then they're using the movie. Lady, you don't know whether you're coming or going. That's the
No,
reality.
I hope that the audience understood my
They
ultimate.
do understand. Put a
What
one in
I'm
the
saying is that,
comments. Put
right?
a
What I'm
one in the comments if you guys see exactly what I see. You
No,
need to get
what
married.
I'm
You
saying
need
is
to get
that no
married.
one truly knows. But what I'm saying is, when I did
No,
not like.
you need to get married so you got someone in your house every day to show you when you don't know whether you coming or going. That's how you practice so you don't go in public and do it in front of everybody and make yourself look like you're inconsistent.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
okay. I'm not
Okay,
trying to.
well, hold on. Let 1 second. Let's get gas them up. Go ahead, gas them up. Unmute yourself, gas them up. Gas
Yeah,
them.
what's
Go
going
ahead.
on, people? Peace to the chat, everybody. Look, I just wanted to quickly point out that whether it was staged or not, who knows? Who cares? My thing is this. For example, recently I just there was an article right here in New York City. It was a guy in Dunkin' Donuts minding his business. He didn't have a mask on. Some lady said something to him. They had a little exchange of words. You know, the mask guidelines have been removed. She goes outside, calls her boyfriend. This boyfriend comes, shoots this dude in the stomach, and he's dead.
I heard
Right.
about that. I heard about
And this is something that I think, for me, as a non-FBA, ADOS, whatever you want to call it, it's something that I've always noticed, and I think it's something that needs to be addressed. And people like Simp Police, Brandon touched on it. We got to stop telling, and encouraging black men to go on these suicide missions because they think masculinity is defined by a woman. I've been screaming that for years. So if you're a man and you're listening to this, you don't allow any woman to define your masculinity because she can't tell you what it is to be a man. Most of what they'll scream about masculinity serves their interest. There's two good books you can read on it. It's called The Manipulated Man by Esther Villar, and a Nigerian author, Chinwezu, wrote a book called The Anatomy of Female Power. So if you are a man and you thinking, because Brandon, on your show, you had that dude from Chicago that was making the argument, and two Niger here, Brandon, Dinus yesterday. Oh, don't get between. Look, man, we got to stop being manipulated men. We got to stop letting women define what masculinity is, because that wasn't masculine what Will did. He laughed at the joke. His woman looked at him, then he got up, whether it was staged or not, and he attacked. So even if it was staged, we see this play out in our community where a lot of women who are unstable encourage men to go out and make decisions that cause trauma in our community. I just got off the phone with one of my boys who's locked up in jail over nonsense with a female. We got to cut this out, man. And if you're a black man, if your woman is out of order, don't go and be the superhero and save the day. Cain Velasquez did what a man did. For y'all don't know the MMA fighter who I believe one of his daughter's son was being touched in the wrong way. He did what a man's supposed to do. That's what a man does. If your woman was rude and disrespectful, and you know she's out of pocket, and she call you, oh, that man said something to me, and you go out there and you do something stupid, you're a fool.
Gas them up. We got to protect them by all means necessary, no matter what.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then they need to listen like the women of other cultures. Because when you go to Saudi Arabia, you go to other cultures
with both ears.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You can't have it both ways. You can't say I'm gonna protect you, and I'm ending with this because I don't want to take too much time. Women of honor, right? When we talk about an honorable woman, Jada lost her honor when you decided to sleep with your son's friend in the house and publicly put it out there. You get what I'm saying? You no longer get honor. In the old days, either you was kicked out or they pimped you. Pick one. So I'm not encouraging any man to pimp anybody. I don't want them to come for me. Get rid of those type of women.
Send her to the
You know what I'm saying?
Send her to Figueroa so she can make that money.
Hey, listen, I don't want to be the guy to say that, but my point is, get rid of her or get some money out of that. Because if she decides to lose her honor publicly, what are you defending her for? There's nothing to defend. Now, if she's a God-fearing woman or whatever you believe in, and she respects you and she follows your word, and some dude steps to her and does the wrong thing, then you have a right to defend her and protect her. But half of them chicks out here who's sitting here setting brothers up for suicide missions, please, black men, stop being dummies. Go read that book, The Manipulated Man by Esther Villar and The Anatomy of Female Power by Chinwezu. That's all I want to say.
The book by our brother who wrote our brother Chwenzi. That book is almost $400. I just looked it up now.
Oh, The Manipulated Man. Listen, if you want, send me an email, gasthemup@gmail.com. I can send you the PDF of both books. If you want, gasthemup@gmail.com. I'll send you the PDF of both books. It's almost $400. That shows you that's how deep that information is. But it's called The Anatomy of Female Power.
I don't know. I gotta have like the physical hard of the book. So when I go back to Niger in May,
yeah, you got to go to Nigeria. You probably find some off publisher who probably got it. Yeah.
My man who has the bookstore at ShopRite Ikeja Mall.
Okay. Wait. You know the dude, the African dude, the dark skinned dude?
Yeah, at the mall.
Yeah, I know, homie. I actually bought some books from him. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
I got this history of the Yorubas from him. Yeah, I go. That's my bookstore. He got everything.
Okay. Yeah. Right when you coming through the entrance.
Yeah, exactly. He got everything.
Yeah, right when you come through the entrance. I know exactly where that's at. Yeah, but
by the MTN. Like, yeah, I get all my books from
Yes,
there.
right there, right by the MTN office. Nah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah,
I'm gonna
I
see.
hope the brothers get those books, man. Like I said, people like Simply, Brandon was talking about it, you was talking about it. Two Niger was saying, no disrespect to you, Two Niger. You saying, oh, don't get involved between a man and a woman. Two Niger, that's wrong. At the end of the day, in African culture, the community, when couples are having issues, you have the father's family, the mother's family, they come together and they try to settle peace between them. So you can't just say, oh, you can't have it both ways. You can't say we Africans, where cultures come together and try to make peace. And a woman like Jada would have been kicked out of the house, because when the family comes together to judge the matter, those who are from Africa will know. And they say, Jada, what did you do? Oh, well, I slept with my son's friend. Jada, you have to go. That's what they're going to tell her. Now, if he decides to still be with that chick and be a sucker, everybody going to tell him, you're on your own.
So gas them up. So basically, you saying we'll need to send Jada to the blade.
Listen, either he get rid of her or he pimp her. Not that many men have that heart to Mac. You know what I'm
Well, let me
saying?
say
So you
this.
get rid of her.
Let me say this. We all, for the men on this panel, some who are watching, we agree that Jada is a toxic woman. The issue that I think that plagues the black community or black men is that we have been so demasculated that we accept so much behavior and to a point it drives us insane. And those are the things that we really need to have a conversation on, saying, how much of our sanity are we willing to basically keep? You know what I'm saying?
No,
For
you 1000% correct, man. Listen, in
because
America, when I was growing up, they used to tell the men, you sleeping on the couch tonight. And black American men would laugh at this and accept this. Yeah.
Listen, not my house.
I don't
Not
know
my house.
what
I'm like, what?
Not
man who
here.
slept
Not
on a
here.
damn
They had Phil, Uncle Phil and Carl Winslow sleeping on the couch.
man.
And
That
black
was in
women
a
love
movie.
this nonsense.
Gas them up. Wait, you can't come for it. That shit was on a movie. That ain't really happening to nobody.
no, it's not even that. I don't think
Because
I understand.
black dudes. Wait a minute, black dudes got side chicks, and we get kicked. If we gotta sleep on couch, we gonna go to our silo house.
Yeah, but I get that, B. But I think what he's saying is the marketability to accept that behavior has really transcend as something, you know what I'm saying, to be accepted. And that's the issue, right? Like, and again, I'm non-FBA, right? And I can only speak from, being a Haitian person, right? I know for a fact, you know what I'm saying, there's certain shit that would never slide. And if it got to that point, it was like, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have to get to stepping, you know? And it's not even to say, non-FBA is better than there, but there's certain things I think that we all as black men need to understand. We should not, one, get to the tipping point, and number two, once that woman pushed that point, it's automatic, excommunicado, exile.
If I could just
Because
make
we
a
see through Will Smith what happens when you lose your sanity.
Yeah, James. Let the one. Hold on. Go ahead, Sheila.
Yeah, so in listening to this conversation, and then I'll just sign off. Um, One thing that really stood out, and this is why, again, I hate to comment on quote unquote celebrity issues, but I think it was a well known fact that both Will and Jada are in an open marriage. I think they have, if they didn't publicly admit to it, it's kind of been alluded to. And if they're in a public marriage or open marriage, open relationship, that sort of thing, um, they really don't have a traditional marriage in the sense that it's going to be
Hey, black love. Hold on, Brandon. Let's see some more of that black love. Black love. Kiss your woman, Brandon. Kiss your woman. There you go. Black love. Kiss your woman. Black love. Black love. There we go. There we go. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, but my point was that they're not in a traditional relationship.
Dinus, they punch in the air right now.
So yeah, so that's another reason why I think it's dangerous to use someone like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett as a standard and state, well, Will needs to do X, Y, Z. They're not in a traditional marriage. They have an open relationship where they both see other people. And if that is acceptable between both of them, that's fine. But I'm just
But is
saying,
she respectful? We're not disputing that. We're talking about the respect. Does
but
she have
there is
respect for
no,
him as a black man?
but that's what I'm getting at ultimately. If you have an open marriage as a man, think about this for a second. You have an open marriage where your wife can go out and sleep with other men. She can have other relationships with other men. Where is the respect with that? And the man can do the same. So you want respect, but at the same time, the relationship is not coming from a place of respect. So you are going to introduce all of these extra elements into the relationship. And if you notice, that's where the dysfunction tends to come from. When you see people that have these alternative lifestyles, in my opinion, there's a lot of chaos that ensues. And that's
my wife said that's not true.
That's not true.
Diners, let my wife talk real quick. She was like, that's not true. Let Ryan talk real quick. Go ahead. Why you say it wasn't true?
I said it's not true because, from according to what you're saying, they have an agreement. So how is one disrespecting the other if they both say it's cool to do it?
Because they both say it's cool to do it, but in principle, they don't. They say it's cool, but at the same time, they're still holding grudges, and it's because they're coming from a dysfunctional
no, it's a grudge held because she could have slept with anybody. She slept with her son's friend. That was a no-no. Also, he's not mature. He's too young, and he went out and he said something about it. You pick the right people. Everybody, you can't mess around with everybody. You got to pick the right one. So she made a mistake. Now their business got put out, and he's upset about it because not because between them, but to the world now he looks like, okay, what am I? I'm just
He's a
pushover
cuckold.
man. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the case. You know, it's already stressful just being in the public eye itself. And then, you know, technically Jada did take advantage of somebody. Imagine if that was Will who took advantage of Willow's friend. He would be in jail.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is on a deeper level. I'm actually
No, what you're talking about is a double standard.
No,
what you're talking about is a double standard
it's not a double
between
standard.
men and women.
No, what I'm actually trying to get at is, so in life, and then I'll shut up and like I said, I will sign off. But as I see it in life, like, even though we're told that there's no difference between good versus evil, right versus wrong, I firmly believe, when I look at certain people's lives and the different things that enter their lives, when you engage in certain practices, there's certain things that come about as a result of those practices. If you are someone that engages in adultery, even if
now you're trying to do like a moral. You're trying to do a moral thing.
Yes.
Hold on, let him
You're
finish.
saying
that's what I'm getting at from a state. So what I'm saying,
no, that's your opinion. That's not.
it is my opinion. That is my opinion, and that's why someone with this opinion, I would only have a relationship with a man that had a son.
Sister Sheila, can you tell me Brandon, hold on. Sister Sheila, can you tell me the white billionaire who has that type of issue?
Let me say this.
Can you tell me wait, Brandon, let her answer this. Sister Sheila, can you tell me the white billionaire whose wife has come out and done what she did?
Well, I will say this. I know Jeff Bezos had to part with a great deal of money, and you see, when they have their issues, it's kind of done. You have to do the research to get.
You're moving the goalpost around.
Hold on, Brandon. Sheila, I think Gas the Month question was clear. Can you give an example of a white person who's similar to Will, who's having the same issues in regards to his wife disrespecting him in public?
I don't. Okay, so let me just say this in terms of other actors or entertainers.
You tap dancing. Just say no. The answer is no.
I don't really follow people like that. I'm just
come on. You're being disingenuous.
I grew up with watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, these other people, kind of, I can't say off the top of my head, but I'm certain that there are millions of examples of people that are in open relationships, and those relationships don't go well, and as a result, all types of things happen.
All
that I'm saying is that you can't have it where you want respect, but the very foundation of the relationship is built on something that it does not really add value to either of those people. That's
let me say this. Let me say this.
Built on a foundation that's strong, it's going to collapse.
Let her finish.
Hey, let me say this.
Brandon, just let her finish real quick. Let her finish. Sheila, repeat that last part again.
So, and I just really feel like, instead of, and I don't know, Adinus, I think your purpose of your show today was to discuss both topics, if I'm not mistaken, not just the housing, but also this whole thing. But I really enjoyed listening to your commentary on the upper class, that DW documentary. I
See,
think
man, no, she just said a bunch of stuff, and
like
that's trying to
class
change the subject.
discussing issues pertaining to housing.
Why do you guys let women do this to you? Make you look stupid. She just said a bunch of nonsense. We're not going to address the nonsense. We're going to jump to the. You don't run this show, so stand on that square you just jumped on and stop trying to go somewhere else. You are full of it. You sat here and said that when a man and his wife make an agreement, because the agreement is not something that you think is okay, that gives her the right to deceive. You're doing the same thing Denzel did, which is what the problem is in our community. When a woman does something, it's never about her and what she did. It's always about something else and some other reason why it was destined to happen anyway, because Will Smith, you put it back on Will. Will allowed himself to be in a situation that was immoral, so he shouldn't say nothing because it was destined to happen. No, and that's the problem with women thinking that they're qualified to run, one, our relationships, and two, our community. You guys can never be accountable for the things you say, so you try to deflect and move around and move the goalposts. No, she made an agreement. They said we're going to have a relationship, raise our kids. We can see other people, but just keep it on the low. It got out because she let it get out because she wasn't doing what she was supposed to do. She was being a dog. She couldn't sleep with somebody who wasn't her son's friend. Jada Pinkett has her choice. She has her choice of who she wants to sleep with. She chose to do some stuff under false pretenses, deceiving her husband, who already gave her a wide range of operation to where she could do what she wanted.
Brenda, you said it earlier the other day. You said it. She purposely. You said it on your show the other day. She purposely, and this is going to Dynasty's show yesterday with Brother Fitzgerald. Sometimes there's some women will stand by you. They don't care for you, man. They want to undermine you. Jada is jealous. You said it, man. She went to acting school with Tupac. Will didn't go to no acting school. She has destroyed him purposely. Look at his other son with that other woman. His other son, for the most part, is quite normal from what we see.
There's a reason why patriarchy evolved the way it did, because when it comes to women, if you give her an inch, she's gonna take 10 miles, and then if you try to tell her something about it, she's gonna try to embarrass you. That's what Jada did. Jada purposely shamed Will. That was all purposely when it came to August Alsina, because she was jealous of him. So I don't want to listen to women getting on here talking about, well, it's really Will's fault because he allowed his relationship to be this and be that. Like you said, name one billionaire, Bill Gates, Bezos, who wiped and went out and embarrassed him. And we know these dudes are into all types of sadistic crap, but they're on code. Look, we have a certain level of class we operate on. Jada is classless, and she's jealous of Will. He needs to get rid of her, and don't ever let anybody tell you anything different.
She's super jealous, man. She purpose. I'm gonna cut you off.
Hold on. Black Beauty makes a point. I mean, hold on. This is silly. Be jealous of a man who is obsessed with her. Yes. I mean,
she's jealous of his success. She's jealous of his success. Women are jealous. You could be obsessed with a woman; she'll still be jealous of you.
Well,
Black Beauty doesn't know what she's talking about.
Hold on.
No. Okay, but hold on. So why won't Will just leave?
Well, that's the thing, bro. And I'll say this: Will is too far mentally gone, bro. And it's sad to say that. And I say this is not just Will. This is.
Somebody could be obsessed with you and you still be jealous of them. I'm telling you, it happens.
They don't understand. What she said about he's obsessed. She's wrong, because at the end of the day, a lot of women, like you see a dude like Brandon, see a dude like Diners, a lot of women are intimidated by intelligence. More so when they can't just come in and hit you with that. I call it the big piece of chicken, manipulation. When you are the type of man who can outthink them, they don't like that. Listen, I work in education. You think these women like the fact that I could walk into any classroom and the kids will relate to me and listen to me and follow what I'm saying? I get a lot of hatred from women who say, oh, we want a man in the classroom. They don't want no man in the classroom. They don't like that. They'll smile in my face, but if they can find any way to undermine me and cut me from under my feet, they'll do it. A lot of women will stay with a dude and they hate his guts. You know what I'm saying? They do it all the time. They'll marry up and they can't stand the person that they married to.
Where's she gonna go? Where's she gonna go? Will could bounce back in a month. Where's she gonna go? Will's not leaving because one, he probably didn't sign no prenup because he's a fool. For two, if Jada is an actress, that means she wants to be in the spotlight. She wants the cameras on her. Why do you think Red Table Talks is so toxic and controversial? Because she'll do anything to keep those eyes on her. Do you think it was good for her when she's doing movies? Do you think she liked it when she was doing movies like Woo and freaking
And Baps.
Girls Trip?
Jason's lyrics. Jason's
No,
lyrics.
Jason Lyric was a good ass movie.
She
well,
did Baps, right?
She was getting her back blown out, right?
Yeah, but she wasn't even the star of the movie. She was a B. She was a side character. But she did Baps, I think. But the point is, you think she wants to see that when Will is getting Oscar nominations and he's directing movies and he's all that? No, because one, she looked down on him because of his where he came from with his acting. He was a rapper who became an actor. So people who are like elitists, they already got something to say about that, how you got to where you are. And then on top of that, she just didn't have a successful career. She sabotaged him. Only time a woman go give her stuff up to a man that's less than you, that's when she's trying to hurt you.
Go ahead, Keisha. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead, Wardy. Go ahead, Keisha.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Well, we heard you, but you just muted yourself. You gotta unmute yourself, Keisha.
Can you hear me?
We hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Donis, don't be sitting up there looking mad and stuff because I know how you are. Hello, everybody. I love y'all coming through to give my opinion on the whole situation. Okay, this is the thing. I hear y'all constantly saying something about her being a predator towards her son's friend. August Alsina is a grown man. Jaden Smith and August Alsina has nothing in common. Jaden grew up in Hollywood. August Alsina is from the streets of New Orleans, Louisiana. Many men fetishize or whatever you fantasize about being with Jada with Jada. So I'm sure he had his reasons as to why he came around the family, but let's not get on that. So Will and Jada had an agreement. They agreed to continue their relationship with one another, so we all should respect that. That doesn't make Will a simp because he wants to continue with his wife. Their children are grown. He could have easily left and continued on with his life. She could have left and continued on with her life, whether it being with August Alsina or whoever else she chose to be with. But I feel like we're being a little bit too harsh on Jada with this situation because Jada had already said on the Red Table Talk. I'm sure her and her husband discussed this prior to them being on Red Table Talk. They probably spoke about it. Okay, is it okay for me to come out and say this? And he probably said, okay, it's fine. So with that being said, when they had the interview on Red Table Talk, Jada said, Will got me back a long time ago.
Keisha, hello?
That hint towards, yes, their relationship were open or some type of infidelity went on prior to that situation even coming out. So we can't just put all
Keisha,
the heat on Jada saying she's this and she's that. We don't know because he's still with his wife. So obviously he sees some type of value in her. But I
Keisha,
feel
can I
like,
respond to you?
okay, go ahead.
Keisha, here's the thing that I want you to take into account. If a panel of most black men and you see, I guess she dropped out, and you see mostly in the comments, black men are telling you how we feel. What gives y'all black women the nerve to tell us what we supposed to think? Y'all follow what we say. We're telling you there's something ain't right. Why can't y'all just say, you know what? Maybe we may not necessarily agree, but hey, what y'all saying, we can understand where y'all coming from. Why y'all always got to come up with this theory and this? Like, it's a problem for y'all, man. Y'all love to undermine. What is so hard to just saying, yes, sir, and just shutting up sometimes? I know that sounds terrible. It sounds patriarchal. You know, you're turning your page on Bell Hooks, page 95. But,
Hey, listen, we're
you know,
patriarchal around here, buddy. We're patriarchal around
She
here.
she got no she listen, if you're not married, you have no frame of reference, right? Oh, he took her back. Oh, that don't make Will a simp and all this stuff. Okay, but no one will say, "Oh, but I'll do that to my husband. My husband's okay with that." Listen, she did it to the man in Will's house, bro. You know rich people got cameras in their house. So you know her whole intent. Well, we got to go to the woodshed because ain't no cameras in there. Like when you just sit back and think of how this went down, it was just deception. She deceived her husband, and she didn't go right away and tell him, "Babe, I did this. I made a mistake." That to me, especially when your husband already is very permissive with you, he's letting you do things that ordinarily men wouldn't let their wives do, and you still find a way to screw him over. You still find a way to just rip his heart out like an old kung fu movie, and look at it while it's still beating in your hand. Listen, she sabotaged them. Now the lady from Louisiana, she was very sweet. I would have asked her, is she married at all? Black women do this stuff, but then say, "Oh, black men are the problem. They always cheating. They always doing this stuff." Look, he let this woman cheat, and she found a way to cheat in a way that could hurt him. Like, I don't, I'm never gonna sympathize with her. Will Smith is a full simp for what he did, hitting Chris Rock. He should have been in jail for that. No, black men, what we gotta realize is we can't be fighting each other over these women. You can't
yeah,
be
Brandon, if you
fighting
took Will to Philly right now and he did that, what do you
them to
think would
clown
happen
his
to him? Or you
ass.
took him to Compton, you took him to College Park Diners in Atlanta. What do you think would have happened to Will if he just cold smacked somebody like that?
They would have been fighting.
Yeah, he would have. And then it's like, bro, you already know your woman is for the streets, bro. Like, Chris Rock didn't do nothing that bad, man. Like, and this is my thing. Women are like, I got to be protected from jokes, but I'm just as tough as a man is. I could do whatever. Dude, look, Dinus, how many times I get on your show? Brandon is fat. Brandon is this. How many times? How many times? How many times? All you guys are doing is exposing your weakness. The Bible says women are the weaker vessel, and it is true. You guys need to be protected from words. Words. Baby, go beat him up because he talked to me wrong. Dude, a man, you could say anything to him, and for all the right reasons. If he have reason to, he could stand there and take it all and not do nothing. Look at slavery. Look at segregation. How many times black men got called boys and stuff and didn't react because then white folks would have came and probably killed up his whole family. Don't tell me you're equal to me when you talking about somebody you need to be protected from words at a
Brandon,
comedy show.
if Will Smith was walking through Long Beach and there was a bunch of rolling 20s and insanes across the corner and they was catcalling Jada, and he goes across the street and smacks him and says, "Keep my wife's name out your
He'll
mouth."
be dead.
What's
He'll be
happening?
dead. They'll shoot his ass.
But look,
And
man, I ain't
then,
gonna take too much of your time,
no,
Dynasty.
gas
I
him
just
up.
want to say one last thing in the wise words of Will Smith. Keep. Oh, okay. Two Nigels here. Two Nigels. You want to address me?
I'm going tonight.
Yes, he's a douchebag. What is he talking
Okay.
about?
Preach.
See,
Address me, Two
let,
Nigel.
let me tell you something. I was on a Nigerian. I saw a Nigerian program today that the women, all the women, were on the side of Will Smith. So for you to be saying all this stuff that the African women would no, there was. If you try any nonsense with an African woman, they will seek retribution. And you know it full well that in Nigeria, you stay out of these marriages. They know where the bodies are buried. All this talk we are talking, and Brandon wishing for another black man to go to jail. I don't know where our mind is. You can't
Lock
just
him
keep. You
up.
can't see in the UK here. They carried out a poll. They carried out the poll in the UK among European countries. The UK is is the country where the spouses cheat on their husbands. So do you see them when you say other people don't do it? They do it a lot. It's a common thing here. And for you to just say, "Oh, because Jada wasn't of good character, like you like the way you like it," doesn't mean Will Smith has to follow your own distinct judgment. It's his wife. I can't imagine how you guys are finding so easy. And she was ill, and they were making jokes about her illness. If she had cancer,
Two Nigel, I think you
would
don't
No,
it be
no,
okay?
no.
understand the
Would it be
context.
okay to make a joke about her illness?
To Niger, I don't think you understand the American context that Black American men are facing. And this is
Yes.
something that you as a Nigerian man don't understand. In Nigeria, the Nigerian image, the Nigerian male image is a strong male image.
Yes.
Nigerian men are able to run their house, they are respected. Even though we know some women are cheating, some women are not listening, some women are not even submissive. We know that. But in America, I'm saying that,
Would you
and this is
no?
what
Would you
Diana,
insult
wait, let
another
me
woman's
finish.
husband in
Wait,
front of the
Diana,
husband? You try it in Nigeria.
to Niger, can
No,
I
no,
finish,
no.
please?
Try it and see what happens.
To Niger, please, you have to calm down. You're not listening.
Oh,
What I'm telling you again is the context of Black men in America having their image attacked. Ever since Birth of a Nation, go and Google it. Birth of a Nation, the Black man has been presented in a certain light. And the lack of respect that Black men get in this
oh my
country
God.
is something
Tuna,
that is okay. Go ahead,
See,
Tunadi,
I
because
talked
no,
obviously
about
you have.
this yesterday. I talked about this yesterday. Why are we apologizing for who we are? If we are
no, no, no,
stressed, we
no.
should act stressed. You can't always be saying, "Oh, Black men should take all this heat and not be able to react at all." They all react when they want to react. When you hear Trump talking about grabbing people all kinds of places, and all their politicians talking all kinds of crazy stuff, young children slaughtering children in this in primary schools, we don't say, okay, they are crazy. They don't get tagged like the craziest people in the world, and we get
Tunaja,
stressed all the time when they
are
say,
you
"Oh,
going to
we are
address
violent or we are that."
Tunaja, can you address what Black men in America are saying? They are saying that for too long, the women in their country have sided with the dominant society to attack them and not give them respect. And that's what people like Dynast and Brandon are
See,
talking about.
I'm
Please
tired of
address that.
hearing that too. I'm tired
Tunisia.
of hearing that too. Let me tell you something. Our group, if you look at Asian men that are 5 foot tall, they have done a better job of defending their communities more than our groups. So, what do you expect the women to do? To gravitate towards men that have not defended them enough? And a man defends his wife now, a sacred relationship that even one of the first things I learned when I was growing up was don't get between a man and his wife. That is one of the first things you learn. And he's doing it now, and we are against a man for defending his wife that was ill, and the guy was joking about her illness. Do
You
you
are
know
still
what they have been
dodge.
through?
You've done a great job
Tunisia.
of dodging the point. Go ahead, James.
Hold on, Tunisia. You keep talking about this illness. It is, first of all, do you know the cause of this illness? Is because people see it as autoimmune. It's the cause is because many Black women abuse their hair. That's how it stems from. That's one. And number two, from a American, a Black man's American perspective, the society has always, the dominant society has always tried to tie women, our Black women, to them to disregard us. There is a big difference. I've traveled the world, and I can tell you there is a big difference. As Gasimov said, in America, Black men are looked as the bottom epitome. No matter how educated you are, how successful you are, we are disregarded compared to any other culture. And there are repercussions for when Black men stand up in America.
There will be
Tunaja,
repercussions, but we shouldn't
Tunaja,
be
hold on.
fearing
Tunaja, please
repercussions.
wait. Tunaja, I just talked about a man who got killed over here because some woman lied and said some nonsense and the guy got shot in his stomach. You don't think, yeah, I don't think you're thinking these things through, Tunaja. This dude just got murdered.
Gas them up. Not to cut you off. Do me a favor. Can you put that Sim Police? Come back on, bro. Come back
Do
on,
you know
Sim
how many
Police.
Black men have been killed because of argument too?
Hold on. Gas them up. Can you do me a favor? Gas them up. Do me a
Yeah,
favor.
I'm here.
Email me that article, man. Email whatever that
Okay,
is.
I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Yeah, send it to me right now. But Tunaja, but you don't understand. Here in America, the number of men who are getting killed because a woman will gas up another man and tell him a lie. And these men are they think between their legs and they will go out and murder other men. I mean, you got women sending other men to kill their ex-husbands, boyfriends, baby daddies. They get a new dope boy. They want to go rob the ex dope boy, the other dope boy who was their ex, go rob their house. There's stories about this all the time, too, Nigel.
Husband and wives. I don't know if they are doing that. I'm not recommend. To be fair, I'm not even saying that it was right that Will Smith goes and slaps somebody. I'm just saying that we should not make it about.
You
Look at
said
the
that
kind of
yesterday.
wild things.
Dynasty, it's in the
No, no,
private chat.
no. I didn't say it was right. In the end, I said it was wrong to slap. I'm saying I understand the impulse. that made him do that. Nigerian men, you know it yourself. If somebody insults your wife in front of you with whatever illness or condition you call it, the Nigerian men will react too.
So
That said, Nigerian women don't get in the faces of other men.
Two Nigel. I want you to give me the Nigerian version of Will Smith, who has a wife who has screwed their son's best friend, who has the red table talk, who's still in love with a guy who's been dead for 25 years, having ethereal sex with him right now as we talk. I mean, just give me the example.
Come on. That is America is not Nigeria, and if it happened in Nigeria, they'll keep it quiet. That's the truth.
Oh.
But America is not Nigeria. You can't expect that kind of lifestyle to be going on in Nigeria where you have.
So then, how dare you defend it? Then how can you sit there with a straight face and
it's
defend
still
it?
a marriage. It's still a marriage.
But
they know where the bodies are buried. Don't pretend as if you really understand what is going on in the middle of them. Marriages have secrets.
Hold on,
that you don't understand.
Tunaja, first of all, the Oscars has always had comedians. Those jokes are written and scripted. That is done on purpose to keep the egos in check of these actors and actresses. Will Smith is very fortunate that the gentleman, what's his name, Ricky Grieve, the one that is he is far more insulting and reprehensible compared to what Chris Rock stated. And the simple fact that, again, you are saying that a man is making a joke about his wife, when we all know when you are a public figure, you are open to all scrutiny, is phallus, man.
See, you don't know what they've been through that money. I'm not saying he was right to do it, but he reacted maybe based on what he was feeling at that time. You don't know what
Dennis, let me ask you a question, Dennis. Do you remember Def Comedy Jam when Martin used to come out there and snap on people? And he called that girl Big Bird. So what if her boyfriend came out there in the crowd and shot Martin Lawrence or beat him up for that? What would that look like?
Tunaja would have defended him. Tunaja would be like, he deserved it.
Oh, come on, man. That is not fair at all. All I'm saying is that when people we keep talking about we need to keep families together, marriages together, and all the rest. This is what it takes. You have to respect the institution.
You see, what Tunaja is doing,
you say
Brandon,
you want it to happen, then the next minute you don't respect the institution.
What Tunaja
is how
doing,
it works.
Tunaja is trying to pick and choose, right?
Exactly.
On one hand, he's saying, I'm going to tell you, on one hand, you're saying respect the institution of marriage. Agreed, no problem. You and I know when couples have issues in Nigeria, families come together to settle the dispute, and it is judged. And if the man decides to still stay with his wife, or vice versa, they tell the party, you are on your own. For example, like Dynasty saying, if this woman is sleeping with her son's friend, there's no Nigerian culture, whether it's Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Fulani, anyway, Isoko, that's going to stand by and support that behavior. So this is what black men in America are saying. Hold on, that some of these black women here are out of order. They don't listen to anyone. They're not following any culture. They're not under any authority. And they have the nerve, like Dynasty was saying, to commit all kind of misbehavior, mischievous acts, and then expect to be defended. You will defend your woman when you know she carries herself accordingly. And if there's dirt, she keeps the dirt in the house. Then you can defend your woman. You can't go and defend a woman who is purposely trying to sabotage you. Tunaja, do you know he has another son that doesn't act like Jaden? Do you know that? Go and look at the other son. This is what a woman who is purposely destroying him indirectly. She's sabotaging him. That's what she's doing.
That's the kind of language that you shouldn't see. Even in Nigeria, when the man makes his decision, that's what the family follows. They don't say leave the man alone. That's what, when the man makes his decision, that is it. Because families are left to, that's marriages, the people don't get involved.
That's a lie, Tunaja. That's a lie. That's a lie. You don't. What you're doing, what you're calling, is a lie. What you're talking about, Tunaja. What you're is a lie. What you're hold on. What you're describing, is a modern day. You're describing Lagosian. You're
people in there.
Diana, Tunaja. You're describing city African lifestyle. Go to the villages. That's not how our cultures were. That's not, you're describing Lagos Island marriages. You're describing Banana Island marriages.
No,
traditionally, that's not how we did
it. Tonight, I have a question for you. If I was your son in the position of Will Smith, and you know everything that is going on, what would you tell me to do? I'm in America.
You are not, if I was if you were my son and in the position of Will Smith, what would you tell me to do? I don't know. I think
Tunaj, you
this
very
one.
smart, Tunaj. You understand
I
the
don't
question,
understand that question.
Tunaj.
I don't
You
understand
don't
the question.
understand that
Tunaj,
question.
oh, come on,
No,
Tunaj. You understand
should
that
I
question,
speak from the point
Tunaj.
of view of Will Smith?
Tunaj, come
No,
on, man. You
Tunija,
son,
you
understand the
are my
the
question,
son might,
father.
Tunaj.
if
You
the
being
son
disingenuous, Tunaj. You
Jada
being
was
disingenuous, Tunaj.
was his mother, he might actually say good for trying to defend my mom, and you don't know what they've been through that money. Maybe
Tunaj,
she
hold
was
on, stop it, though. Tunaj, stop it. The question is simple. If Will Smith was your son,
okay.
okay, and you saw how Jada has been acting out, what would you tell your son to do, Tunaj? Go.
Oh no, okay, no, I won't be happy with that at all. 0%. But that doesn't mean I can get involved. I know enough to know that I don't want to be the sacrificial lamb of their marriage. Because that will
Tunija,
happen.
so
That
hold
is
on, hold on, hold
exactly.
on, hold on, hold on.
My son will not speak to me again, and I will be the sacrificial lamb. I know that.
Hold on. So you
You
were
can't
Tunaj,
get
a
told
in between
Fulani
two
man and
couples.
Hausa man would never say what you're saying. I just want you to know, you have a Benin picture
Tunija,
there.
so you
A
would rather
Fulani and
me
a
I
Hausa
already
man
know.
would never say
I
what you're
know
saying.
a
Tun-
Yoruba man, a Hausa man
I
would
will
not, any
condemn
African
it.
man would not
I will
say what
say
you're
I
saying,
don't
Tunaj.
like it. But if you go too far, then the man and the woman will cut you out. They will use you as the sacrificial lamb. That is how marriages work.
No,
I
Tunija,
learned it a long
Tunaj,
time
Tun-
ago.
Tunija,
Tunaj.
you're being hypocritical because at the end of the day, you're telling me you would basically let your son be sacrificed to a woman
Okay,
that is very
let
destructive.
me give you a recent experience that I had. One recent experience that I had there were two couples. The family members didn't like one of the female, and they was like, "Oh, this guy, leave the wife, leave your girlfriend." His was a girlfriend. Leave the girlfriend. I don't want you to be with this girl. You're what more? You're better than this girl. You know what I told them? Be careful when you get in between people. At the moment they were telling that guy to do that, that lady was pregnant. They didn't know that.
Tunija, I am your
Weeks later,
son.
they discovered the lady was pregnant. Now they are living together. Do you
Hold
know
on.
what will happen to those people that were advising him to leave that woman? To leave
Tunija,
that woman, they will be
Tunija,
the outside parties now.
Tunija. The
That is
children
what
are
marriages
hold on, hold on,
does.
hold on. The children are grown. They are adults. I've been in this marriage for 20 plus years. You have seen the chaos and you're seeing me at my demise. What are you going to tell me to do as a father?
I don't know. I'm not in that. But if I was your son, if
Uh,
Will Smith was my
uh,
son, I would say no. If Will Smith was my son, I would say what is going on here is not good.
Oh, what is
And
going on here? Now you are
of
blind.
course, of
You are
course, what is
blind,
going
huh?
on? See, I'm not going to start using terms.
James, this is what we
See,
call
I will just tell you that.
selectiveness.
Come on, stop it. I just said I was going to condemn it. What am
Okay,
I
so
supposed to do?
okay, let's switch it
Go
around.
and get the police to
Tunisia,
arrest them
Tunisia.
because
I'm gonna
they
give
are
you something
couples.
even better. So if it was your daughter and a man was abusing your daughter, what would you say?
If they are married, abusing her in terms of the law that I can do something about, obviously I will deal with the man. If he was abusing my daughter, and if I don't even care about the law, I will deal with the man. But
Oh,
if it was like,
hold on. So you have high regard for your daughter than your own son that can carry your name.
Proof
no,
of
what I'm
what's wrong with
saying,
black men
this
today.
is different. The scenario you painted was that the spouse was doing something else. It wasn't exactly attacking my son. If he was attacking my son, that's a different thing. I would defend my
Tunisia,
son.
do you know in America that black women are far more abusive to men than
But that
any
is not
other
the scenario
race?
you painted. You can't paint strange scenarios all over. If you said
This is not
my
even a
son's
strange. This is statistically
spouse
proven.
is sleeping around doing all kinds of weird stuff,
So hold
that
on.
is not
So
normal.
hold on, Tunisia. It is acceptable for a woman to be abusive and still be pardoned. But then when a woman is being abused by another man, like I gave you the reference to your daughter, you would actually step in and handle something.
What is
This
the
is so
abusive
hypocritical,
that
man.
she's sleeping around? That's the abusive
So
thing you're
so
talking
Prince,
about.
so Dynast, ask him what would the Oba of Benin do if his own son was doing that.
Jesus
hey,
Christ, come on, man.
okay,
How can
hey,
you bring
Tunaj,
about
what would the
Benin to this?
Benin? What would he have done? What would he have done?
About
What would he
Benin
done,
will have
Tunaj?
married many wives for the son. That's how they roll now. They will
To
get more
Niger,
wives and
listen,
kick that woman
a
out.
Fulani man,
That's how
a
powerful people
Fulani
behave.
man would not say anything that you're saying, and a Usama would not say. And this, I'm saying this to all Nigeria. This is what's wrong with us, South. We are losing our culture with this
Oh my God.
liberal garbage that we're
They
doing
will
daily.
say see,
We're being
okay, let me tell
liberals
you
and
what
we're
the
losing
Fulani
our
man will
culture.
say. Let me tell you what the Fulani man will say. Even they understand that marriage, you can't get involved. They will say, by Allah, this is not allowed. My son, you need to do
No,
this, you need to do this, you need to do this. If the son
Tunaj.
decides to go ahead, they will let him be.
That's not
Exactly, and he would no longer get the benefits of the family.
Maybe it's true. They might decide that they will disown the son. It's possible they do that quite a lot.
So you, as a South man, let's act like that. Let's continue doing that South.
But in the end, the marriage, they can't do anything about the marriage. That's my point. You have to leave the marriage alone.
Tunisia, you don't believe in shame?
Shame?
No, he doesn't, because let me tell you, this is a
I
reflection
shame, of
of
course,
what's
but
happening in southern Nigeria today. The southern Nigerians don't have shame anymore. They're trying to be pseudo ADOS. So they want to be FDA.
Honor.
That's what they are.
It's not shame, it's honor. If you can disown your child, that said, many Nigerians, that I grant you, many Nigerians will disown their child if they find their child doing something that they find dishonorable to the family. They will do that. But they don't get in the middle of the marriage. That's the point I'm making. Don't get in the middle.
Hold on.
They know where the bodies are buried.
Tunisia, at the end of the day, I'm coming to you as your son, as for guidance. You have seen me going through so much mental turmoil, and you telling me that you would not give me the proper advice to walk away from this woman because of marriage? You can see, Tunisia, let's be honest here.
Even if
hold on, let me finish. If this was in the Oscars in Nigeria, we are a highly respected family, and I displayed that type of behavior, and everyone in the family said it's because of that woman, you would not intervene.
Of course I will intervene. See,
Tunisia, do you know this is why Nice and Rugged Man had an issue where they stopped being friends because of this type of infidelity stuff? You know that, right? When Nice and Rugged Man had a beef because of Rugged Man so-called being with Nice's woman. Look, Tunisia, look, you have to stop making excuses. And this is why I'm telling all the men in the chat, please go and get that book, The Manipulated Man by Esther Villar, and the Anatomy of Female Power. Because men like Tunisia believe they are in control. They don't know the power of a woman's manipulation. He has no idea.
Will lead to further misalignment between these. All I am saying is that all the other parts, I think we are conflating two things. The part you are saying is that the behavior is condemnable, and you should be able to say these people, what the woman is doing is bad. Yes, I agree with that. I would do the same. But where you should draw the line is, don't start recommending that they break up. That's not your business. They will decide what they want to do, and you have to live with
No one is talking about them breaking up. What people are saying is that for the Black American man, they're complaining about this type of behavior that they've noticed. Not all of them. They're talking about that. And you, as a Nigerian, are not even in the proper context to say what you have to say. You don't know what it's like on the ground here. This is what Dynasty and them are trying to tell you. This is what Brennan and them are trying to tell you.
Over and over again is many men come online and complain about how the women are doing this, how the women are doing that. This same group of women are some of the most educated groups in America. They go out. Can I finish?
Dynasty, do you hear this?
Can I finish my point? They are some of the most educated group in America. They go out there.
But tonight, the most educated, but also the most in debt. Like, education doesn't mean resources.
But they go out there, do the work. Let me finish my point. They go out there, do the work, and yet they are the most undefended group on the face of the earth. And the men that are supposed to be defending their communities for these women that are doing all these things, where are they to be found?
They're in jail for the defending. They're in prison. They're in jail doing the defending that you're talking about.
And many they are killing each other. The brand not recommend that they put Will Smith in jail, put one other guy in jail again. That's going to solve the problem.
Hold on, right? Because he was trying to defend his wife. You were saying that these women are undefended. White society has placed them in a permanent position to be defended. That is fact. From funding from Goldman Sachs. This is the thing. For you to even say that men are not okay. When you hear women complain, why is it that your ears are open? But when you hear men complain, your ears are shut.
Because men are not doing their job. Let me tell you something. The Arab men tell their women wear hijab, they wear hijab. The white men say when women go to work, they go to work. Afghani men say women stay at home, they stay at home. We are supposed to be setting the pace and defending our communities. When you don't do that, don't blame the women for reaching out to do something else. We keep complaining when we are not doing our job.
Go ahead, Jughead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Greetings, Dallas. Greetings, Gastabout. Greetings, James S. Greetings to Niger. To Niger, my brother. No loyalty, no protection. No loyalty, no protection. It goes both ways to Niger. Okay, you can't protect someone that's unruly and undisciplined and refuses to adhere to protocols and rules. You can't, protect an unruly soldier. You've let them go. Now, regarding Will Smith's situation on Sunday, I mean, I've looked at it time and time again, and he did the wrong thing. But as Gaston was trying to tell you, certain behaviours in the West, in the UK, however, and in America, a lot of women are problematic. A lot of them are undisciplined, disorganized, and disloyal. Not all of them, some of them. I'll back up Gaston up. Someone like Jada Smith, we should divorce her because she's toxic. He's too good for her. Because look at now. He slapped a man on stage for her, risked going to jail. Yet now, she's not even defended her man. Where's the loyalty? He defended her, she's not reciprocating. It's called reciprocity. It's not on her vocabulary to Niger. Where's her loyalty to her husband?
I think when people say this
Yo,
thing that
Danish,
she's
you know what
nobody,
dudes like
I don't know
Teenager
why
are
people
doing?
keep saying that
Dudes
she's
like
nobody. See,
Danish,
this is very offensive actually. Why do people keep saying
Danish,
she's nobody compared to her husband?
Danish,
She
you know
was
what
with him when
he's
he
doing?
rose. I don't.
Danish, let
It's
me
not
show
like
you what
she's
he's
like a
doing.
gold digger that just came and that was just looking for money. I
You know
think
what
it's a little bit
Teenager,
disgraceful what people keep saying.
you know the template he's
It's not.
using?
It's unedifying really. How can you just
Okay,
say she's like nobody compared to him? She
okay,
didn't meet
she's
him
someone,
Okay.
as
no
a
problem.
superstar.
Good. She's somebody. Danish, you know what he's doing? He's
What's he
doing the
doing?
template that a lot of African men
Oh,
do when they come to America. They present this image to African American men. Remember we had that show why these girls
Right,
are going out to go get Longstroke Kwame?
right.
These dudes like him, right, that present this
oh my
image.
God.
I'm the black man. I'm the strong African man. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'll protect you. And them black American women eat this garbage up.
So
This is
Gaston,
where
No,
they fall
I'm
for
not
that,
doing that.
Oh,
Dynasty.
African
This
men
is
are
it.
just as weak.
Tunaja, are you hustling draws for a green card? Are you trying to get a green card,
Not
Tunaja,
at
to
all.
America
Not
or
at
the
all.
UK?
See,
Tunisia.
let me tell you something.
Uh-huh.
African men are also in the bracket, just in case Gas them up doesn't know. When I talk about these things, African men are just as bad. I don't even know why they are getting so much respect from their women, really. Because these people, they just leave their countries fallow. They don't do anything to protect their people, and then they expect the women to be loyal to them. If you open the gate of Africa today and let the women out, they will go out and seek other men that can protect them. The men are just sitting there. The only reason why the American women are able to do what they are able to do now, because they know that they can see other choices right about them. African women don't have that, so they are stuck with African men. But the African men are not doing their job, for crying out loud. Let's not pretend like as if we are just doing a brilliant job.
But hold on 1 second. We got Fidarari. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Fidarari, unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, peace. Yeah, I understand what Tunija is trying to say, but this situation it's not like it was some random people on the street. Somebody randomly walked up and posed a threat or something like that. It's the Oscars. It's comedy. You know what I mean? It's that context. You know what I mean? You go to a comedy show or an award show, people are gonna crack jokes. That was not called for. You know what I mean? And this narrative of him being the defender of black women, that's like totally false. He got in his feelings and he went up there and he slapped Chris Rock because he was in his feelings because of his wife. And he reached to that point because she put their business out there in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's hard to defend. It's hard to defend a person like that who just put your business out in the street. So you know what I mean? That it makes no sense. I'm understanding what he's saying in the general context, but for this incident, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? He didn't.
I get that. I get the frustration people have against what Jeddah has done openly and he seemed to have humiliated Will Smith. I get that. But sometimes people forget they act as if they are part of the marriage, they own it. You don't have a clue. These people were together for a long time, probably before Will Smith became as big as he is right now. And somehow they talk about her as if she's some kind of gold digger. We really need to chill out a
That's
little
not
bit.
true. That's not true.
Tonight.
Tunija, again, you don't understand the
That's what I
context.
hear people say. They say she's nobody, she's no this, she's jealous of her husband, for crying out loud.
Hold on.
She's
Tonight.
jealous.
But that may all be true, and he loved her and all that. But the feeling he was feeling was not because of what Chris Rock said. Come on, the joke wasn't that serious. You know what I mean? And
Tonight,
people talking about it was her illness, and they acting like it's chemotherapy. It's not. It's not. She literally got a video saying she doesn't care what people have to say about her bald head. There's a
Tonight,
video. There's
tonight.
Maybe he doesn't like Chris Rock.
Hold
Maybe
on.
he's already told Chris Rock about this
Exactly.
before.
So
Tonight,
it comes from
You
somewhere
don't
else.
know.
It has nothing to do with him trying to defend his wife. So why are we trying to perpetuate that image
narrative.
or that narrative? It has nothing to do
So
with
two
I
Niger,
can
are
tell
you
that if
protecting the black
you tell
woman?
a
You
Nigerian,
know what?
if you tell,
Wait,
if you
wait,
talk about a
brothers.
Nigerian woman, a man's this a wife like
So
that,
two
in front
Niger,
of
let me
them,
ask you a
they're
question.
going to
Are
get
you
crossed.
are you the model African man? Are you protecting the African women in Benin there?
See, believe in me,
Are
I'm not
you
model. I'm
protect?
not
No,
model
Dinus, let's
for
ask him.
anything.
Is he going to the universities to protect the Nigerian women from the cults?
I'm
Are you
not the
stopping it?
model for anything. I'm not modeling myself to anything. If I model myself to anything,
Oh,
I'll
you
model
not the
myself
Tonight,
model
to the
man. You
weakness
not
of
macho
most of our
man.
black men. So let me tell you
No,
something. When you call
wait. You
macho,
not Big
it's
King
not
Kong.
macho
You
at
don't
all.
protect the women.
gas them up. I got a
protect the
question.
women, of course. If I have to lay my life down, that is what it has to be.
Okay,
You
tonight,
protect what you need to do.
tonight.
So
Let
can
me
you
ask
go to the University of Benin and go protect some of those girls from the cults?
Seriously, that's what you
No,
recommend
please,
for me.
You're
This
a
guy
strong
doesn't
man.
mean
You
me.
stronger than me. I give you all. You macho.
So
You the
why
biggest man
should
in the
I go
block.
and do that? Why should I go and do
Tonight,
that? That is not
Because you
my
just
fight.
said, Dynasty, didn't he just say that we no good? We're lazy. Our women should just leave us. So go down to the University of
But am
Benin
I
and go
stupid?
protect
I'm
those
not.
women from
You
the
don't
cult.
just go and start protecting people. That's not going to
Matter of
solve
fact,
any
when
problem.
in Lagos,
If I
when
die,
MC
if I die
Oluomo
today,
and
how is
his
that
boys
going to solve
start
any
fighting,
problem?
can you go and protect those women? When MC Oluomo and his boys start in Lagos, can you go and fight?
tonight,
That is like petty. What you're saying right now. You can't expect me to just go
tonight,
and die for one in anecdotal case. That's not how it works.
tonight. Let me
Go
ask
ahead.
you this. We know in certain atmospheres there's something called social class. Will Smith and his wife are in a different social class, in a different arena, where at the end of the day, as everyone who has seen the Oscars and most awards, there are things that shouldn't even bother them because they've seen this so many times. This is nothing exclusive to the point where they don't know. For the fact that here you are trying to justify to protect an irrational woman where many men in America continuously say, we don't like this, we don't like that, and say that we don't want to protect them. It's unruly, man. Because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, I work in corrections. There are more false domestic file cases on men, especially brothers. When I look at their, I'm saying, how'd you? Oh, she lied about this, and next thing you know, that woman will say, "Okay, I'm sending you money. I'm sending in the canteen. I'm coming to pick you up." This is the type of abuse men are subjected to in America. I've seen men in my field have an argument, or not even an argument, a disagreement, and the woman slaps them for the simple fact that she knows all she has to call is one phone call, a domestic violence case. It's
Listen,
over.
if I can interject, Jay, if I can interject, and I'll let you continue. That's happened to me, and it's like you can't do nothing.
This is the thing that
Dynasty in the chat, they said that you making that up.
No, that is true. Actually, we know women do this. That's not that's not a lie at all. I know that women do this.
No, Tunisia women don't do anything. They perfect. They're perfect, Tunisia.
Come on, that is not what I'm saying.
It's
up to you to rise above that.
Let James. Hold on. Let James. Go ahead, James.
Tonight, I'm telling you, when I look at I oversee over 1,000 men. 60% of these cases, when I see these men come in, are false domestic charges cases. Because when I look at some of these photos, I'm like, wait a minute, she got no scratch, no nothing. I look at the guy, he's bruised up. And all they got to do is make one phone call. I've told you, I've seen a police officer get slapped by his wife. And next thing you know, he had to stay calm because he knows if she calls it domestic, it's over. This is the situation that Black American men, just black men in America face, the threatened, the constant fear when they can't even be who they are. And this is where it becomes belittling. Because at the end of the day, you know, just like I know, my parents are Haitian. That shit would never fly. Any false allegation, that would be addressed right then and there.
Yeah, but
you know why he can't relate, James? He can't relate because the Nigerian government.
See, let me tell you the
Nigerian
gap.
government has not created that situation for people like him
Let me
yet.
just say something very quickly. You see, the Asians, they come into America, they're able to figure their way out to manage their families and their communities. Even the Amish, that literally say, you know what, you are not even allowed civilized stuff. They still manage to control their
You
families.
sound like Fox
their
News
women.
right now.
Can you let me talk? You have to understand, we as men, we forget that our role is to set the pace, not to complain. You have to figure out a way to take control of your communities, because the Asian men have figured that one out. Even if they are 5 foot tall,
Hold on,
as
Tunisia.
big as we are, we have not figured that one out.
Tunisia, I didn't say.
James, do you hear the nonsense that he's
Of
saying?
course, this is what I'm gonna say. I didn't
This
say
is what
this.
these
I told
African
you.
immigrant men tell these black women in America,
It's true.
I'm
and they
saying
simp
the same
so
thing about
hard for
our
them.
women in
And these
Nigeria.
African women eat
So,
this
Tunisia,
garbage
you don't
up.
think white men go through this?
That's my coming. John House respect. That's my coming down.
Go ahead.
It's the same
Yeah,
thing. It's not
hold on,
garbage. It's a
hold on one
fact
second.
of life.
Hold on. James, go ahead, James.
All I'm saying is, brother, if you think it's just black men only, because at the end of the day, there are plenty of white men who face the same criticism, the same judgments. And this is the thing. This is a Western issue. This is truly a Western issue. This is what happens when you allow these situations to get so out of control. And again, if you talk about, oh, men need to set the pace, you know how many men have tried to set the pace and have been chastised, have been destroyed?
Hold on. Well, I'll give you one right now, Tunisia. Ice Cube. Ice Cube came out and said, look, let's leverage our vote, black people. Let's see what we could get for our vote. You know who came and tore him down, Tunisia?
Yeah,
James.
the community now. No, I know about that
I
one.
mean, Dinus, you know why? Because Ice Cube don't have a college degree. He's not educated like those women. That's why.
Well, okay, let's go with Ice Cube now. What has Ice Cube done with all the millions that he's got? What has he really done for the community?
He's done nothing, Dinus. Ice Cube has done nothing.
I'm not trying to criticize him. I'm asking a simple question. What has he done? Because I want to understand. Because that's so I will understand where he's coming from. Because you have to. What I'm saying is where we put. I'm trying to highlight something where we put.
Hold on, Tunisia. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get out of here now because obviously you have your thought process. It's okay. No disrespect to you. You have every right to think how you think. Listen, to me, and I've been screaming this, like I'm gonna repeat those books again. Go, if you're a man, go and read the book, The Manipulated Man by Esther Villar. Go and get the book, The Anatomy of Female Power by Chinwe Izu, a Nigerian author. This idea that the minute black men get everything they're supposed to get, then the women are going to follow is hogwash. Every other man around the world has the foot of the global powers on their neck, and their women still respect them. And all I'm going to end with this, Dynasty, is in the wise words of Will Smith, keep Yo Johnson out my wife's mouth.
So the men that he's talking about that the women follow, those men, have you checked their history? What they've done to earn the respect? Have you seen what the Japanese men did? Have you seen what the Chinese men did? Have you seen what the Russian men did?
Tonight,
what are you talking about?
Hold on. Tonight, we have to be very cautious now. Eastern families are far more harsh. Black men are the most forgiving.
Yeah.
If black women, no, hold on. If
So
black women ever dated an Eastern in the far, any men in the Far East, they would cry and beg for black men. This is why. This is the thing that let's be honest here. The tolerance level in the Far East is nowhere near what black men have. And this is why we are so undermined.
Exactly.
You didn't even say that these other men, you know what happens when these women get out of line? You won't even see them.
But nobody is there to stop them. But in our case, there are people there to stop us. Like in Nigeria now, they are having a debate about Women's Week and all the rest. They are talking about all those things. But these other groups, they've earned the respect of the West to the point whereby the West doesn't even interfere in their lives, even when they come to the Western community. Like if a Chinese group comes to America now, they live as if they are still in China. If you go to the Amish, they do whatever they like. But our communities, the moment even they leave Africa and show up in America, they become Americanized. Because we are so vulnerable, anybody can come in and dictate to us within our families because we don't have control of our communities. That is where the fault is coming from, and it's the men that should be doing that.
Hold on, tonight in South Korea, they just voted for a male. They had a male voted for a president, right? He has created laws that basically, if you basically make false accusations on domestic violence, the woman will go to jail. This is the only country I know a woman can lie and say, I've been raped, I've been such. X, Y, Z, and she will not be punished. But the
James,
man will be destroyed.
I think that for me, that part is not right. Obviously, if somebody does something like that, they should definitely answer for it, just as a man will answer for it. I'm not in that direction. I'm just saying that when you look at the way these communities work, it's only our community that seems to be the most vulnerable to any environment we are in. If we leave Africa, even African families, if they leave Africa and they come to the West, before long, the Western and this way of life will just infiltrate everything that they do. But an Indian family will come in, before they penetrate their family, it's going to go 5 generations. They will buy the whole street by that time, by the time the stuff is done. So this is, I'm telling you that we talk about it all the time. We talk about how our money doesn't stay in the community and all the rest. This is why I asked the question, what did Ice Cube do? Because I want to understand where they are putting their money. What is resulting in this kind of hollow community where our communities are penetrated so easily?
Too Nigel. See, you're disingenuous. The people who were shouting Ice Cube down, what have they done? What have any of these black politicians done? Too Nigel, you're just being disingenuous.
True. No, I agree with you on that one. I'm not. See, that's why I said you are reading meaning into my question. I really want to understand.
But that question shouldn't even. That should, a simple idea. Listen, let's see what we get for our vote. Like, what? I mean, why do you need to do a background check? What's his resume?
No,
what has he done?
Exactly.
No,
okay,
I mean,
fair
for
point.
what?
Fair point.
That's what coming.
My lamentation is that we have billionaires. You know, African Americans have billionaires. They have so many these people that are rich. They have an upper class actually, but that upper class seems to be there just to work with the Europeans, not necessarily to protect the community enough. They should be doing that. That's what I do. That's why I believe.
But Nigel, what did that have to do with Ice Cube saying, "Hey, let's see what we can get for our vote"?
Because I want to understand. Because if I ask myself every day, what are those billionaires doing with their money? I want to understand what they are doing with the money.
You're conflating issues. What are you talking about?
Because
what does that got to do with billionaires and this, that, and other?
The reason why I say is that because if we keep having money and we use it to make headphones or sneakers and all the rest of it, that is not how you take charge of your community. You use it to build wealth, things that actually accumulate strategic wealth. That way, when you want to control your community, you have power to do that. You can say, you know what, this policing region, we are going to take over it, and the state will like, you know what, we are going to let you do it since you have the power to do that. But we can't do that right now. They dictate everything to us.
Tunaja. Yeah, so I just want to make sure like I understand your point clearly, because I'm hearing you saying like the other groups, they've like done enough to gain respect from like the West, right? So they can dictate to the women how they should behave. So if that's the point, I'm thinking you're actually disrespecting women, because now you're saying they don't have brains. You see what I'm saying? Because they're not to blame for their own actions because we don't run America. That's crazy. They still have brains and agency.
They are within the community. They grow up within the community. The news they consume is from the TVs, the media. Everything they do is from. They attend local schools. But while the other groups, they teach them to speak Chinese language. Let's say Chinese family is in America. They'll teach them to speak the Chinese language. They'll get them incorporated into their lives.
Nigel, what does right from wrong have to do with speaking the Chinese language, Nigel?
The point I'm making is that when you have a stronger community, this is a totally different point from Will Smith stuff. When you have a stronger community, generally you can set the pace. You will not have this issue where men are complaining about the behavior of women too much, because it will be less. It will be a lot less because you are the ones setting the pace.
In control of their behavior. That's what you're saying.
I mean, when you hear Amish men come online to complain about their women.
I'm not complaining about any woman, but what you're saying is saying that women are not in control of their behavior. The group is. Their society is apparently in control of their behavior. That's their argument right now.
Well, there are other people that are also in this society. Why are they immune? That's my point. They seem to be immune to the effects of the society.
To Nigel, my brother. What my love says is that there was this accountability. That's the word, accountability. You're making black women unaccountable, and that's unacceptable. That's what we're trying to make. You know, if men are accountable, it goes both ways. You can't have equality, and that's selective. It's all of it or none of it. If men are accountable, there's so much they being accountable. Back to Will Smith and Jada, which is the topic of Dan's broadcast. Her behaviour of the last 5 years has been scandalous. What happened on Sunday was not in the microcosm. What happened on Sunday was a culmination of 5 years of abuse. That's what you're not seeing.
Mm.
It didn't happen on Sunday. It's happened the last 5 years of accumulated stress, abuse, emasculation. It culminated in a slap on Sunday. That's what happened. That's what you're not seeing, too, Niger.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, and I
Well,
also agree with the fact that we have to hold this in or put both parties accountable. But right now, my focus is on the men, because what I
hold
tend
on.
to hear, I hang around men's spaces, and what I tend to hear them say is they complain about the women endlessly,
Okay.
and they forget that they have so much authority to control this situation, but they are not doing it. But they complain. If you keep complaining, you're just appearing weak. You don't see Japanese men coming online to complain about their women.
Nigel, let me say this. In the Western world, I have seen far more educated black women die at the hands of men who are incarcerated with rap sheets of murder.
Oh, hey, James, I'll give you a prime example, James. Here in Atlanta, there was this lawyer lately.
Yep, thank you for bringing that up.
There was a lady here in Atlanta, a lawyer who was this woman who was a lawyer, was dating a Pookie. Pookie snapped, killed her, had a shootout with the police on the balcony, ended up getting killed too. But listen, James, go ahead, James, and we got Tamika on, because I want to hear Tamika's point of view.
Go ahead, Tamika. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Tamika. Go ahead, Tamika. Go ahead, Tamika. Tamika, you're mute. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Tamika. Unmute yourself, Tamika. Say something. We can't hear you, Tamika. We can't hear you.
I think our mic is low.
No, I can't hear her at all.
Is low.
I can't hear her at all. But I would like for some of the sisters to call in. Links in the chat room. Keep it balanced. I would like for some of the women to call in. Links in the chat room.
Adonis.
Go ahead,
I'm glad you brought that up with the sister who's a corporate lawyer. And there's so many cases of highly intelligent sisters who are entangling themselves with some of these dudes who have no business. I mean, I could tell you straight up, man, one of my good partners, his sister is one of the top attorneys in San Francisco DA. She is a Stanford graduate, and this woman was visiting her boyfriend at one of the state prisons in San Francisco. When people in the family started questioning who you dating, so on and so forth, she would not even speak about it until the man was released after 3 years. Her brother finally said, "Who is this guy?" "Oh, I'm trying to help him out, get him back on his feet." And then he goes, "Let me help him get back on his feet." Anytime you hear some shit like that, you already know homie is not on the right path, or something went down, right? Then she finally revealed. And it's one of the most mind-boggling things that I see in our community, that so many sisters, for whatever odd reason, instead of dealing with someone like Giannis or any other brother who is productive, healthy, who wants to progress in society, that is completely ignored, and then want to turn around and say men are not who they are, right? But then when I see all these women who are getting killed because they want to fuck with Pookie, excuse my language, and then wonder why these situations happen, there's no accountability.
All right, Tamika, your mic is. Tamika, do this. Leave and come back. Leave and come right back.
Okay. I'm working now. I'm about to leave now. Come at work. So
okay.
Ernest, to Niger, James B, Mello, especially for UK. I'll see you soon. Take care.
Respect.
Okay.
So about this Will Smith stuff, I think what gets on my nerves a little bit is when people just start saying, "Oh, she's jealous and she's."
Whoa! Hold on. Let me interject. Oh, hey, James. Sorry, dude. I got another one. NGA Baby 51. You remember James? You remember Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Of course.
Phaedra.
Oh my goodness. So,
with Apollo.
Like, Tunisia, if you could see the nonsense that black men in America have to deal with, I think you would change your perspective much highly. For the fact that you have black women that go on TV shows, syndicates, to emasculate men for their own prosperity, tells you that there's no such thing as, oh, women are highly dignified. I've never, have you, honest, have you ever seen a male TV show, Trash and Black, going on there like, oh, these chicks is this? Men
No.
seeking actual profit?
No. Anthony Jones, go ahead, Anthony Jones. Anthony Jones, go ahead.
Yeah, you can hear me? Yeah, shout out to you, Donis, man. I'm saying, been watching you for a minute, man. You the one that turned me on to all these dudes, man. Pan African Strikes Back, Brother Bakari, all these other dudes, man. Shout out to the chat. Listen, I just gotta, what I gotta say, man. Listen, I agree with Naja halfway, cause he's sincere, cause I understand that what he's saying, that black men need to step up and do what other races of men do. You know what I'm saying? We do need to protect our women and hold the fort down. But on the other aspect, you got to understand, Tunaja, you know what I'm saying? This started from way back, maybe 2,000 years ago, because, you know what I'm saying, if you know the history, you know, and black men haven't had that, like, you know what I'm saying, empathetic, you know what I'm saying, sincere, since they haven't been doing what we should have been doing, like, from 2,000 years ago. So what I'm trying to say is, now that we come to this end point right now where we at in America, and you gotta remember that black people in America, black men in America, and black men in diaspora is dealing with the aspects of slavery. Now, you know what I'm saying, you gotta look at it from a warrior's point of view. Of course, you know, say if the women are loyal, they're gonna be loyal. If they don't be loyal, you can't be mad at them, because you know what I'm saying, because you in slavery too. So I can understand that aspect as far as how Black America and the diaspora has come to that aspect. Now I'm not gonna give African people a pass, definitely, because you know what I'm saying, they should have been stepped up to the forefront and should have still been holding the fort down. But in Black America and in the Caribbean, you know what I'm saying, and of course the diaspora as far as in England or whatever, we've made a lot of strides because we've been institutionalized. So we still made more strides than what the black men in Africa has done, because they the ones that really started this shit. You know what I'm saying? If you read Chancellor Williams, you know what I'm saying, you had black men back in Kemet times, you know what I'm saying, giving their daughters to the white man. Like, yo, how you do that bullshit? Or selling your brother into slavery just to adopt the Mohammedan religion or whatever. So we know where it started, but you know what I'm saying, when you come to this context in 2022, it's a different dynamic as far as black men in America have been fighting, you know what I'm saying, and we have been getting knocked down. But that don't mean we gonna stop fighting now. But you have a lot of black women in America, in this country, that they will sell you out for the drop of a dime. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, it's not no ifs, ands, or buts. They
Donis.
will sell you out for a drop of
Uh,
dime, and
uh,
they do the most
hey,
bullshit. You know what I'm
yeah. Hey,
saying? And
hold on one
although
second.
a lot of these brothers are at fault, you gotta remember they are raised by a lot of these women. You know what I'm saying? Most of the men that are raised by in a strong family or have gotten the knowledge from a strong man, they not gonna cooperate with a lot of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We got see
And,
what we missing. Like I said, the reason why I agree with Naja, because Naja is I agree with everybody on the panel, but Naja is going back into the past, and he's saying, okay, every other race of man protects their women, and I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? We as black men overall for the last 2,000 years have not done the proper job, so we can't blame the women. But in this day and time right now, we have to understand that the descendants of slaves, whether it's across the Caribbean or in England or in America, we have been fighting. We have been fighting more than the African man. You know what I'm saying? And when I say African man, I'm talking about the African on the continent. They've been fighting more than y'all. We definitely been fighting more than y'all. We do protect the women more than y'all, but we've been through more trials and tribulation. You gotta understand, we coming out of slavery.
Hold on.
You gotta understand,
And, and, and,
we
and,
coming off
Hey,
a
hey, hey, all right,
and,
brother.
situation where
All right, Anthony,
we've been
and,
institutionalized. So
all right,
and,
women
Anthony, all
gonna
right,
see that.
Anthony, all
and,
right, Anthony, all right. Go ahead, James. Go ahead, James. Go
yeah,
ahead.
first of all, like, this is why I disagree with. For number one, we are holding on to old narratives. This is a problem why I see a lot of black women and even some black men. They are holding the old narratives as if black men have not progressed. Let me say this. I grew up in the 90s. I'm almost 40. What I saw in the 90s and what I see now is two different worlds. The younger millennials and the Gen Zs do not function with gangs, black, you know what I'm saying, crack era. They don't see none of that stuff. Actually, there are more men or more brothers, young brothers going to college are actually being more productive. The problem is that we have too many sisters who hold on to these old narratives and want to paint this portrait as a broad brush, as they've never seen progression in black men. That's my biggest issue.
I think there has been progress. However, the issue still remains. And this is why I always say you always have to watch the dial. That dial, for me, is a dial of power. If you don't have power to control your this community, then you have a problem. Because if you forfeit the control of your community to outside forces, don't be surprised your family dynamics become misaligned. That is what will happen because they will tailor it to suit them, but it
Tunisia.
filters into your own community.
How can you say, okay, we have educated women who are having children out of wedlock? Donis, you can tell me if I'm wrong. You can go on IG right now. You can see an intellectual sister have a child, and you will not see the picture of the father. Not because the father does not want to be in that child's life. It's because that is how it is functioned in a Western society. It is better to have a child than be married and be a wife. This is the most absurd things that I've ever seen in my life.
To Nigel, you know how many offers I've gotten just to be pretty much a sperm donor. Look, just have
Oh,
I have I'll have your baby, but you can't be involved. You can't make the call. You can't have control. I don't want you to have no control. Pretty
Yeah.
much sign away your rights.
That's really sad. See, you see that for me, that's just the symptoms. From my point of view, that's the symptoms of what we have been talking about here. Sooner or later, you will find that when we take charge of our communities, all these problems will reduce significantly.
but
We see that in many communities. For crying out loud, how many do you think you can make our women wear hijab today? Good luck trying that. Can you make our women do anything? You can't make them do anything because you don't have control over
hold
anything.
on,
Go ahead.
Tunisia. We're talking about, think about it. We're talking about a rational woman, an educated woman, going to dine and said, I want
Whoa, James. Let me interject. I'm so sorry. You
to.
just brought up a great point. To Nigel, every woman that's done this has been college educated.
Yes, right?
James.
Right? We have rational, educated women who are going to men like me and him saying, I'll just have your child, but I don't want you. Tell me, how is that even, how's the logic?
That's the misalignment I'm talking about. They have become so the way they see life now is that they don't need the man anymore. They can go without it because the trouble that they have had, like that's from the examples they've seen around them. Some of them actually grew up
No,
around homes like that.
no,
Too Nigel. No. See, Too Nigel, you're
So
disconnected.
is it white women? Do white women do that?
No. Hold on, Too Nigel. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you why. Because
Okay.
at the end of the day, as well, she could go into the family court system, throw me on child support,
True.
collect the check. Like, Too Nigel, this system is wicked.
It's wicked, man. Tunisia, I know a girl.
I know. I agree. I say like I keep saying, it's just the symptom. In the end, the reason why it's happening to us is because we are not preventing it from happening to us. The other communities don't have that problem as a see. I've been to some of these court cases, some of these courts. If you look at these courts, you will see the people that are there are specific to a specific group. Like if you go to some courts, like family courts, you see black people there. You see maybe some new arrivals of Somalis and Egyptians or maybe Arab people there. But you hardly see the whites and the Chinese and the other groups there.
Too
They keep falling
Nigel.
for those things.
Too Nigel. No. In America, I
No,
mean, this is something that's affecting men in general,
in
white men,
general.
black men, and tonight, you know what's crazy? The Pookies and Ray Rays don't get put on child support, but the men who are in their families, child support is supposed to be for men who don't support their children. All the men who I know who are on child support are men who are active and involved and support their children and who are doing well off.
Tunisia, I'll give you.
One second,
Go
James. One
ahead,
second,
go,
James.
brother.
The men who aren't on child support, and I'll ask the women, like, your son, do you have, is the father on child support? No. Why not? That Negro ain't got no money. So a lot of these women are having children with men who they know don't have nothing and not putting on child support. But the men with resources, we're getting dragged through this child support system, and it's wild. Like, it's crazy too, Nigel.
See,
Tunisia.
they created it. You see how resentful many men feel about that.
No,
It tells you that that's that misalignment. In the UK, it's not very serious. It tells you that they know that there's a lot of white men here. If you do that in the UK, they will be very resentful of it. But in America, they make it very strong because they know the people that they understand the people that is going to catch most. This is how they pass the drug law, knowing full well the people is going to net in. These
Tunisia.
things you have to understand how it works. That is what they are using to misalign our families and make us make bad decisions.
Tunisia. I'll give you two perfect examples. I know a girl right now. She is married and still trying to put her son's father, previous marriage, on child support. How does that make fucking sense? Excuse my language.
Tunisia, I know a man who, so okay, if you get married, right, and you married and see this, and this is another reason why a lot of men aren't, I know a lot of women about to get offended. I'll give you a reason why a lot of men don't really deal with single mothers like they used to. I know a man right now married a single mother. They got divorced. The mom was trying to put the stepfather on child support, and the child's not his. Now technically you can't do that because he didn't adopt the child legally, but she still tried to do it.
It's the to piggyback. Yeah, like
See,
let me
okay, go
piggyback
ahead, go ahead.
on the next one. Similar situation to my boy, right? He was with this woman. She had a child in a previous relationship. He has a child with this woman. My boy has put at least $60,000 away for her college fund. His child. Every month she saw it. He goes to work one day. Their relationship's not working. This woman knows that he has a fund for their child. She still calls the job. I'm sorry. She files child support papers. Doesn't even consult with him. Mind you, you know how embarrassing that is for a black man to go to work and then find out the HR person sees your check, you being seized. You know how destructive that is, and then white society's looking at you like, "Oh, you one of those."
You see, I think this is partly why people reacted to this issue with Will Smith in the way they are reacting, because it's from some of all the frustrations. But you see, the thing is that from the point of view as a Nigerian, what the kind of mindset that Nigerian men have is that when they have children, they are not looking to try to go away, not worry about child support. They actually want to take care of their families and try to do some of all those things. As a matter of fact, they do try.
Okay, tonight, it completely went over your head tonight.
Went over your head.
So,
Again,
okay, please educate me.
Okay, tonight, again, it went over your head. The men who are paying child support are the men who are involved. The deadbeat dads aren't paying child support, because again, when I ask these women, why don't you have the man on child support? That Negro ain't got no money anyway, so what's the point?
Giannis, and can you speak on
is that not true though? If he doesn't have money, what are you going to get from him?
Well, that's the thing. This is what I'm trying to say, and this is why we brought up the corporate lawyer. It doesn't make any rational sense that a highly educated woman who is well off would put herself in a circumstance of a man who is violent to the point he kills her and the police. This is how disconnected this situation is in America. Versus, you would think a highly educated woman, a highly productive educated man, it makes sense. It does not make sense in America. For some odd reason, I've always said this. It is the most bafflingest thing where you see women who do the most irrational things in this country. And then when you ask them why they do it, they just, oh, I just wanted to have a baby. It's the most selfish,
Mm.
conceiting thing. And
I
again,
think that sorry, I think that when one goes into anecdotal cases where you hear all these lamentable, situations, if one goes through it a lot, you find that your mind will become a little bit warped and tied to emotions and everything. Hence, why I've tried to move away from that. I try to look at things from the point of view that you know what, these problems exist. There's no point crying about it. Find a way to fix it. That's my whole approach to this. And hence why sometimes I come across as if I'm just talking over people's head. I see, I don't understand. I know all these things. Some of them I've seen them happen. I've walked on the street and I saw a man come to me and he was in tears complaining about his life. I don't even know why he decided to talk to this day because I was with someone then. He was in tears about his life. I've seen men in the UK cry and complain about the difficulties they are facing, often because they cannot even see their kid. It's not about the money. They cannot see their child. This stuff destroys men all over the place. But how do you resolve them? Because complaining about it, I've done the complaining. Sooner
well,
or
that's the
later, you have
thing
to
now.
figure out a way to get out of it.
To Niger, this is the issue that we see in Western worlds. There are too many men, right, that go through these situations because they're genuine. They want to be a strong man in society. And then it comes down to, why can't we ask the women, why are you creating this chaos? We know the data, what happens in single family households. The Monahan report actually identified this almost 30 years ago. So this is not stuff that has not been researched. We're dealing with a society that has access to information. What separates Western society compared to the Far East and other, people use their access and information and they multiply it so they can magnify their production and their legacy as a culture. Look at the Asians. They know if they have a highly educated class, they can be more productive. Somehow in Black America, that is looked down upon. But then when we ask women, why are you choosing certain behaviors or doing certain things, men are disregarded as if they are fools.
So we got hold on 1 second, Nigel. We got Abu Musa. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Abu Musa, unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me, Emil?
You're very low. Like, yeah, you're very low.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about now? You can hear me?
It's very low, brother. If you could call in on another device, that would be better, brother. Let me get Al Campbell on here. Al Campbell, go ahead.
Peace, everybody. How y'all doing? Good.
Doing good. Go ahead.
Yeah. The brothers who are speaking about like where we are here, like in the West. Hold on. Yeah, where we are, like just being here in the West. That's a real thing. Like we actually are, like we are behind enemy lines, and we know that the attack on our people is definitely a global thing. But the situations that the brothers here are talking about, that's very, very real. An example of that is, I'm from Durham, North Carolina, pretty much like one of those liberal, democratic, cities and whatnot. And back in like 2015, 2016, when the whole BLM thing started to pop off, they used to have like all these different gatherings and different like group organizations that would come together, particularly women, like women's organizations. And they talked a lot about the patriarchy and how women needed to be protected, and just all the stuff that we're always used to hearing. And it was like the way that they were getting at the brothers. There were brothers in these groupings too, but they were just kind of there listening. But the sisters was like going in on everything that was wrong with the brothers. And then when I began to speak about like the need to just basically go back to a more traditional way of living, they hopped all on me. They hopped all on the brother. They started doing the whole shaming thing. They flipped. They were doing all that madness. You know what I'm saying? And but the one thing that I noticed is that with these different gatherings that these sisters were having, and these are like supposedly like educated sisters who were going to academies and school and whatever. I noticed that every time they would have these different, and they always talked about how they weren't protected by men. That was the main talking point. But I noticed that every time they would actually have these gatherings, they would have them at places where there were bars, where you had access to alcohol, and there was a DJ on the after part, on the back end of these gatherings. And these would be the same women who, when the music start and the drinks start getting passed around, they bumping and grinding on each other. They doing all kinds of stuff that is like total opposite of the shit that they was just talking about. You know what I'm saying? And there's like a bunch of them, not just like there's not no small gatherings. These are like larger gatherings. They're very consistent. And I noticed that these are the same, folks that when you get them by themselves, they would also be the same ones because when you get them together, they have like this one collective narrative. But there's also been times where I would catch some of these sisters one by one, and I would actually drill them with like real questions about what they really experience as far as being protected by black men. And I would actually ask them the cold hard questions, and because they didn't have their crews with them, they would actually have to answer honestly and say, you know what, you're right. I've actually had more brothers come to my aid than I'm actually letting off. You know what I'm saying? Like the honesty would actually come off when they're by themselves, but when they with the collectives, it's like a whole nother standard that they're using to draw their talking points. And I was like, this is an issue, and this is the same issue that the brothers been talking about throughout the whole show about constantly shifting the standard.
Brother, one
Constantly,
second.
constantly
Sorry, sorry to interject. Hold on. Listen, this is the open platform. Anybody can call in. Clarissa, links in the chat room. Call in. Again, call in. Link is in the chat room. Call in. All right, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, somebody must got something to say. That's cool. But it's all good. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying like these are the things that I've seen over the years, not just one incident here, one incident there, but just like a ongoing narrative. You know what I'm saying? So the brothers are not far fetched when they talking about the things that they're seeing. You know what I'm saying? And so, it just lends itself to a certain um mindset. Yeah, it's like, and I would actually ask the sisters, like, when you really talk about protection, do you really know what that looks like in the real scheme of things? And do you know how you would where you would have to be as far as like where you would have to be in your own mind to be able to be ready to receive that type of protection? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a daughter, and I talk to my daughter, and we have discussions, you know what I'm saying, about you know just making sure that you're not in the wrong place at the wrong time. I've had talks with sisters about like, yo, you want to talk about protection, you know what I'm saying? But if the man is like, yo, it's best to not go out dressed like this. It's best to present yourself in a certain way when you go out into the public. Nah, I'm not carrying the guns. I'm not sitting here putting my fists up trying to, defend you from anybody. But if you got brothers who are like, yo, you got to have standards. Like the other day, I just heard two of my coworkers say that women don't like men with standards. I had two sisters tell me this. They said, we don't like men with standards. And I'm like, well, obviously you don't want protection, because the foundation of real sense of protection is going to come from actually having standards and values. And if you're not ready to deal with that, then you really don't want protection. And she just kind of frowned at that. And so all I'm saying right now, I'm in and out, but I'm just saying that it does have to do with a mindset that it's kind of like being swept up under the rug or not necessarily being admitted. And sometimes I find myself just in one-on-one conversations hearing the real truth come out when I'm talking to sisters one-on-one. But when you're talking about moving as collectives out, that shit is crazy. It's like it's a whole different story when they come together as collectives, but you catch them by themselves, then they can't lean on the collective to talk the stuff that's being taught. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear brothers like Pan-Africanism and Strikes Back and some of the other brothers talking, I mean, that shit is real. It's very real. You know what I'm saying? But that's it, yo. I'm really enjoying the show, man. Y'all, keep it moving. Yeah, that's it.
All right, go ahead, James. Go ahead, James.
Well, I mean, all I can say is, brothers, man, like, again, the Western world, for black brothers in general, we are under consistent terror. Consistent. As much as we want to be like, say that that you know what I'm saying. As much, let me say this: as much as women want to portray that it's, you know what I'm saying, that they're not protected. And all, man, let me tell you, brothers are the least protected. Period, across the board. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't have. And honest, you can help me with this. What is that? Affirmative action. That alone protects sisters because one, they're black and they're a woman. You know what I'm saying? And then what does
Right.
that leave for a brother?
Do you hear what he just said just now? It's like a soldier says, we are the least protected. How does that work? The soldier is the protector, not protected. You see, that needs to sink in there. We have to see ourselves as the protector, not the protected. That mindset needs to be altered. And I hear what AI Campbell said about some women, not looking for the right kind of partner. I've seen that, on YouTube where you have all this, and I think that is basically a kind of class thing. I don't think the upper class, or the middle class, African American community are going about saying they want gangsters for partners and all the rest. You see some of these women, they will come around and say, oh, they prefer a gangster to a man that goes to work. I was like, what kind of mindset is that? It tells you that the upbringing was not done properly, but I don't think that is anything close to universal. So I don't think we should use that as a way of measuring how women behave.
Rich King, you got to turn off the background noise, bro. Rich King, go ahead. Rich King. All right, really. It's about 50-50 in the case against Will. Yeah, there's some, people agree with him, people don't. I disagree with him, but
many Nigerian women are busy loving him. Nigerian women are very mischievous. On TV today, they were like, because they had a case where a celebrity in Nigeria too, Ojuku's wife, Ojuku now in the Civil War, his wife slapped another woman.
his wife, yeah.
So the Nigerian people were supporting her. Like, well, what was the lady going to talk to her garbage about that? She went and took the slap. Then they said the same thing about Will Smith. They said because he was talking about the wife's illness, that Chris Rock should have known better.
Nobody knew.
Nobody.
Hold on, no. Nobody knew she was ill, bro.
She was online with it.
That doesn't mean that
she came online. She was sharing it online.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean a man knows. That's like, do I know what goes on your? For example, if someone publishes something, does it necessarily mean I know what it is? No. Chris Rock, people, you have to understand, these people, these public figures have their own lives. The most thing, first of all, this is how you know the alopecia is not as serious, because people still hold the stigmatism. They hold the situation that Jada has an affair with a young man. That oversees everything. That is what she is branded with. If it was the other way around, in a sense, if she was not known for August, then that would be a different context. But because she is branded with having an affair with, people say he's a grown man. Let's be honest, a boy, anyone at 18 years old is not a man. That is a legal term. So this is why, to make this assumption that, oh, he knew. First of all, I've said this before. Chris Rock does not write the jokes. The Oscars write everything. They're the ones that are in charge. To make the assumption that this man knew about this woman's personal health and well-being, it is wrong.
I guess next time they would think twice about writing jokes. They would think maybe they should consult some of the people that are on the audience here, especially if the person has a condition. And people like to call alopecia condition. It's not an illness. It's one of those things. Women, they love their hair. If somebody loses their hair, I remember a US lawmaker was talking about this the other day, and when she exposed her hair, it was a big deal. So these things, women are sensitive about these things, and you call them out public about it. If the husband is in a bad place, anything could happen. So, and from the point of view of, let me hack back to what the Nigerian women were saying. They were like, you can't just do that. When the guy reacts, then all hell will break loose. And I thank God that Chris Rock didn't fight back, because if he
Hold
had,
up.
it would have been a mess.
Tunisia, we're talking about hair. We are defending
It's
because
not
a
just
woman
hair.
is. Come on, no. Let's be honest here. Miss Pinkett isn't a very attractive woman, whether she had hair or not. She's still very attractive. This is nothing. This is where I don't understand the psychology of where, oh, well, it's because she had a. At the end of the day, does this affect her? She's an older woman. Do you think as we age, you don't think there's something? It's. I honestly said this to my family member of mine. She is very fortunate. That's the only thing she has. Because there are many people who are suffering with far more greater disease that don't have the access or the riches that this woman has. And then we are talking here like, oh, this is so sensitive. This is insane.
I see. When you start saying that, oh, she still looks good, that's your own opinion. Most women don't see themselves like that. They see themselves having a lot of issues, and they wear wigs. When they are wearing wigs, if you want to start complaining about somebody losing their hair, then go and try people that wear wigs.
Tonight,
not to mention if they lose their hair completely.
Tonight, this woman, Dinah, said this. She was online talking about how fly she looks.
Okay.
So what is there? And at the end of the day, women can't judge their beauty. Men judge women's beauty.
Good luck with that one. Go and tell the women to take off their wigs and them. They're not going to listen to you because they believe that is what we go for. And you say we are the ones we judge their beauty. If they believe that's what we are going for, that's what they are going to do. And that's besides the point. You don't know what they are going through indoors because of that condition, how she's reacting to it. If you were coming outside and your wife just a moment ago felt very, very bad about her condition and maybe was in tears, you just consoled her, then you came out and this loudmouth comedian that you probably don't like, because I don't think he likes Chris a lot for some reason. You probably don't like, comes and start talking about your wife again. You can see how that can get under your skin.
Yeah, but doesn't mean you go up there and assault a man on the greatest stage on the planet.
No, I don't support that. I'm not supporting that. I'm just saying that.
That's the issue we have here, is that this is the thing, and Donaldson can speak on this.
People have more issue with Jada Pinkett than Will Smith that did the slapping. That is one of the problems. They have more issue with her.
No. This is the thing. There are women like Jada who actually perpetuate in the sense of that is the best way to defend a woman. We all agree that there could, if this bothered Mr. Smith, that bad, he could have went backstage. He could have dealt this in a minute. He could have went up there and whispered in his ear like, "I need you to apologize to my wife." But the simple fact that Will Smith laughed, and this is why I always say they do not live in cohesion. There's the simple fact the man laughed as soon as he looked at his wife. It looked like something possessed him. A 51-year-old man. Think about this. This is a fully functional adult. It looked like somebody just took control of his mind. This woman looked at, oh, okay, yes, I'm under your spell. Yes, I will. Yeah, let me take your commands.
Maybe you're right there.
Well, let's do this. Hold on one second. So you got two Blood Diamond, Damon. Unmute yourself.
Yes, so Moba. Bawoni. I can't hear you.
I said Bawoni, share Lafianio.
Da ni. You're doing good, Baba. Tonight, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
All right, Baba. So basically, I'm just calling just to say that, in my opinion, it seems like a lot of y'all are missing the point of what Tonight is trying to say. Basically, it's like he's saying like women are more empirical. So the solution, all that we've been saying so far, how they reacting to us, is symptoms. The cure is for us to obtain power. You see all of this woman taking us to the child support, putting us on ad, doing all these things that they do to us is symptoms of the problem. The answer, the cure to the problem is for the men to obtain power. That will put a lot of these things, that will decrease a lot of these problems, because women by nature are empirical. They just go by what they see. What they it's like they don't see outside of the bigger picture by nature, generally. So if they see men, black men in a position of less power in their eyes, in their perception, they see us as weaker. So they have to go to these things that they perceive as having more power, such as the court systems, the police, and things of that nature. Does that make sense?
No, I disagree with you, brother, because
It makes perfect sense to me. It makes perfect sense to me.
I disagree for the simple fact that white America, white males are. We talk about our problems. White brothers are going through hell because of child support, and they're at the top of the food chain.
But they're not going to it as in the rate and the volume that we're going through it. Yes, they have their problems too.
That's not true,
That's not true, bro.
That is not true.
That's not true. That's not
That
true,
is not
bro.
true.
That's not true.
That's not true, brother.
And to be fair, they too are lamenting these problems too. That's the truth. They too have a problem. Even they have a problem with population. That's why if you look at their conservatives and right-leaning ones, they really, really hate these things. And if you look at America, that is where the power lies. Those are the ones that own all the guns. And these people are saying they don't want this nonsense in their communities anymore. They are the ones that are pushing back against all this LGBTQ and all this stuff that is going on. So they too have similar problem. But remember, the difference is that they are the ones instituting these changes. Ours, we are not in control. That is the difference. The Chinese are in control of their communities. The Indians are in control of their communities. The Arabs are in control. Our own is slightly different. And that's a big difference between theirs and ours. Their misalignment, they created it. They wanted it that way for their own reason. And when they want to fix it, they will fix it.
But Tunisia, we know in those communities, those women suffer greater consequences. See, that's the difference between America. If a woman knows she could disappear for her actions, I think a lot of Western women would definitely change their tone. Because you know, and I know, when you go to these other countries, that shit is not tolerated. Especially we're talking about,
bro.
I mean, you can go ahead.
Go ahead, Mufasa.
No, this is what I was gonna say to Niger. You keep bringing up these Nigerian women. These must have been like compared to the Nigerian woman. They would drag. If you told these Nigerian women in Nigeria what the things that Jada has done, bro, they would have dragged her ass through the mud before the Nigerian men even woke up. Them themselves, they wouldn't accept anything that she's saying. So where were these Nigerian women from?
You know what? Funny enough, that is true. It happened about 2 weeks ago. They dragged a woman. Okay, actually, they were defending the woman, actually. A woman that cheated on her husband and the husband died later on. The community of the women came outside and dragged that woman outside and humiliated her. But these women that are supporting Will Smith were outraged that why were the villagers chastising the woman that way and disgracing the woman. So I guess you have both sides, but these women that are supposed to be like the politically correct women in Nigeria were the ones supporting Will Smith for what he did today.
No, but what I'm trying to tell you is that they don't have the context. I'm saying if you sat down and you told them this is what she's been doing it for years. She was sleeping with other men. She's doing this. She's embarrassing her husband. They wouldn't even, if these women had the whole story, they wouldn't even talk about her anymore. They would have been done. They would have been through her away a long time ago. So they're seeing this whole thing out of context. So you can't hide behind them saying these Nigerian women, bro. If me and you sit down and I tell them the whole story, you know what they're going to say. They're not going to support. They would have been through her away.
Oh no, they know about our story. They know about our story. I'll tell you. See, the thing about Nigerian women is that there's something about them. That's why Nigerians like Trump. They like people that are hot-headed and go and do things, get things done. So that is the instinct that they are supporting. I don't think they are saying, "Oh, it's good for her to cheat." They hate that too. You see what I mean? But they are just reacting from the point of view that it's his wife and she's ill with an illness that they consider a condition, and this guy is making a joke about somebody's illness. If it was cancer or any kind of other illness, maybe people will not find it that funny. You see what I mean?
Mufasa, you have to understand. I asked this man if I was his son. I asked him if I was his son, I was going to do the same thing as Will Smith. He couldn't even answer it. But I assume if I asked my mother, she would give me a better response. You know what I'm saying? So this is the thing I don't understand about Tunisia. And then, like, for example, there are situations in America now, and I remember seeing an episode on K Samuels. There was a woman, her husband was dying, and she was on the man's show looking for another husband, looking for another man. This is the nonsense that men deal with in this country. Tell me where the moral, and this is, mind you, she has no shame, no integrity, and I wouldn't be surprised if many other women are in the air. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, go girl, go ahead. He about to die anyway.
Listen, I like for some of the women to call in. Like, I see the women in the chat. Like, links in the chat room. If you want to call in,
Yeah, let
you're
the
more than
women
welcome to
come in
call in.
because it looks like I'm being a simp here, talking about not blaming them for everything. Because I don't know why, Pan African Strikes Back. Most of the time he comes online here, he really never has a lot of positive things to say about women. I don't know why he does that. He likes to hold people accountable, but the people he doesn't hold accountable enough is people like himself. And I don't. It's a bit tiring because we played this game before where we keep blaming ourselves, saying the women are doing it. No, we have our own roles to do. The women, they are doing their part.
Hold on. Melanie Queen, we listen. When the women come in, call in, we are respectful. See, that's easy. You're in the chat talking now, calling a bash. No, ain't nobody bashing. We want to hear the woman's perspective. We're trying to keep it balanced. See, I just want to shoot from the chat room. You just want to shoot and blaze from the chat room. But
But Dinas, earlier on you said this is a patriarchal channel. When you say that kind of things, it sends a message that hey guys, women don't come here.
Tunisia, is your culture not patriarchal?
It is. I'm just saying that if you announce it like that, you are intimidating them. You're telling them, look at what
Our women are not intimidated to Nigeria. African women, black women are not intimidated. You can't have it both ways. On one hand, you can't say the black man doesn't protect them. Then on the other hand, they're intimidated. Which one is it?
I don't know what you want me to say. I'm telling you, I don't know what you want me to say. All I can tell you is that
you are a politician.
Brandon came here and tore into that lady for it's like whether the lady said something wrong or not. He said the lady's talking garbage and all the rest of it. Then you want another lady to come in again. They will be like, I don't want to be spoken to like that. You see what I mean?
So those women need to get thick skin, no?
Yeah, ask me. Hold on 1 second. Mello, go ahead, Mello.
Hey, yo, yeah. So I'm just back again because I hear these two guys repeat the same thing. This guy literally said out of his mouth that women can't see the bigger picture. I don't see how that's acceptable to any woman. It literally makes no sense. You're saying my daughter not being smart enough. Like you're saying they're stupid. That's literally what.
Let me explain. Let me explain what I meant by that. So basically, it's not about being a simp. This is just a fact of nature. There's an old Nigerian proverb
that's about simp, bro. I said you're saying women are stupid. You're disrespectful.
I'm going to get to that. Just wait. Let me land. So basically, there's an old Nigerian proverb that says, "Wherever men go, women will follow." This is just a fact of nature, man. Women are more empirical. What I mean by that is that they go by what they see, like their five senses. Like outside of that, just generally speaking, there's always exceptions to every rule. But generally speaking, she goes by what she can taste, feel, see, hear, and touch. You see what I'm saying? So if a man is not,
she doesn't have a mind to think further than that.
Let me land, brother. Let me land. So in the American society, the black man his popular image has been emasculated. We've been made to look less than a man. So when a woman sees us, she doesn't see the power that's supposed to be emitted from a man. You see what I'm saying?
Filibustering.
I'm getting
the point.
Okay,
Is
what is the question you want me to answer?
Bro. Yeah, that's what all of what you're saying. At the end of the day, you're saying woman is unable to see past her basic senses. You're saying woman cannot see into the future. Woman is unable to make an educated prediction. That's what it boils down to, your point.
Their actions say that, not their words, brother. Their actions.
No. I'm saying these guys, their words are saying that women have
Their
these.
words are describing the actions of the women.
Exactly, it's reversed.
Mello, what I'm saying is
I don't
that
agree
by
with that.
nature, Mello, what I'm trying to say, let me put it in different words. What I'm trying to say is that by universal order and by nature of things, as can be observed empirically,
Are you an
men,
evolutionary biologist?
listen, brother. Men are by nature the leaders of women in society. That doesn't mean that
I agree
women are
with that.
stupid. There's an order to everything in the universe. You
But
Okay.
see what
you,
I'm saying?
so when you make the statement in English that women do not see the bigger picture,
Uh-huh.
does that, I mean, everyone here can comprehend English. When you say a woman cannot see the bigger picture, what does that mean?
Okay, brother. Let me because I'm not a person that's too proud to humble
Okay, brother.
myself.
Okay,
Wait.
Melo.
I'm
Okay,
sorry. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. Well, let me just say this real quick. Melo, I'll give you an example. I keep using this same example, Melo. Ice Cube. Ice Cube says, "Listen, black people, we have our vote. Let's leverage our vote and see what we can get from each party." It was the women. What the hell are you talking about? Nah, nah, nah. Blah 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 blah. That's what like Blood Diamond is referring to. Examples like that.
Thank you,
Yeah,
brother.
on a
And
certain level.
Mello, I would say I'm not too proud to humble myself. Maybe I used the wrong words in saying that a woman is unable to see the big picture. The essence of what I'm really trying to say is that women, men by nature are the leaders of women. So when a woman empirically doesn't see a man in a position of power, she wouldn't follow a man because she's attracted to power, which is emitted by man. So in American society, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
you're bringing the convo further now to where you're saying then because we don't have power, our women are allowed to sell out or undermine our efforts towards progress. That's not what you're saying.
I didn't
And
say she's
I would
allowed to,
say,
but that's
hold
by
on,
nature.
let me finish. Let me finish. And I would say we should at
Whoa.
least have enough time to
Hold
gain
on one
power
second.
before our
Hold on one
women
second.
sell us out, right?
Hold on one second. I wanted the sister. She dropped. Hey, call back in. I'll let you call. Hey, the sister who just left. Like call back in. Like call back in. The sister who just left. Call back in. Links in the chat room. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm saying after the Japanese get bombed or any other group that has been conquered or whatever, if their women just sell them out before they get to actually achieving or reaching the progress needed, they would never get there. So the head of your logic is biting the tail. It doesn't make sense. They still have to not sell out, brother.
I think from what I hear when you said women don't have this thing, I don't know what you meant, but my perspective on that is that men are basically appendages of women. In other words, we are just like when you want to reach into somewhere you are not sure about, you use your hand, you don't use your face. Men are the instrument nature has used to explore and secure the area where the child is supposed to be born and the women are supposed to be secure. After all, half of pregnancy, women are basically disabled. They can't do much. You have the duty of the men then is to shield the environment, and when they do that, they have insight into the environment that the women don't have. So when you put it that way, that's how I hear it. That women don't have the extra insight of what is going on. They are not the one going hunting. They are not the one
Still
killing lions
disrespecting
and
women.
all the rest of it. I don't think it's disrespectful. I think they are just different. They have different roles. They are both just
I
as
think
important
a
as each other.
woman has equal mental capacity to any man. That's what I think. She has equal now physically, does she have the same physical attributes as a man? Your statement points that out and makes that clear. However, mentally, she can think, solve problems, do math like anybody. You know what I'm saying? So
Of course, no one said that they can't do that. No one said that.
yeah, but there's no, bro. They actually did, because they're saying that women can't think for the future. Women can't make decisions that
And that
are
one I agree with you
good for the
because,
long.
like I've said, men have this men are manipulated. That's why I always tell people read Esther Villar's book. Men have been manipulated into being idiots. They walk around with big chests, and they get a big piece of chicken for taking all the risks. They're stupid. So on that level, I think men need to start thinking and saying, wait a minute, if
Come
I'm
on,
going to
they are
take
not
all these
stupid.
risks.
They are not stupid. They are doing their job. You see, I think you ascribe. See, let me tell you something. Biologically, women are more valuable than men. You know why? Because they can only bear as many children, but men can have a lot of. Let me tell you something, and let me explain it to you. Because we are different. Men are more potent. Women are more valuable. They are
Now
two
I see
different
why you
things.
wouldn't give your son good advice.
Let me explain to you why, so that you understand. Because if you approach society from the point of view that you can compromise your women, you can have at most maybe 10 children. If you compromise one woman, you've lost about ability to have 10 children. But if you compromise one man, you can still have 100 children. It matters nothing for the survival of this community and for the species. The women have to be protected because they can have only as many children. You see what I mean? So from that point of view, women are more valuable, just like diamonds are valuable because they are few.
Hold on.
What you're saying is wrong, but go ahead, brother.
No, this argument you're saying is so irrelevant for the simple fact that men are programmed to have higher tolerance and take more risk. Just because a woman may bear a child, right? She has a high pain tolerance for a period of time, which I'm not disregarding. After that period of time, the man must guard that woman at all cost and take risks, despite, and this is again, I'm speaking from a Western side, despite what she may say or how she treats that man, because society has made us psychologically understand we have to provide and protect. That is ingrained in us. A woman doesn't.
I think you are not understanding it. Haven't you seen how wars decimate a community, that they kill so many men? But if you decimate the women, that is where the damage is really done, because that you can't replace those people easily anymore. If you take the women out of the equation, you can't replace them. But if you take the men out of the equation, you can replace people that were lost.
Hold on, Tunisia. If that was the case, women would actually use more rational decisioning on who they breed to have children with. Because that what you're saying is irrational. Because at the end of the day, if they were so highly regarded, why are we still seeing women who are educated, professionals, still bear children with men who are far more devastating to society?
Because James, you
in
know
the
what
end, they have
Tunisia is
a clock.
doing?
They have
You
a
know what?
clock. Let me tell you
No,
something. They have
Tunisia,
a clock. If they don't have
what
a
you're
child within a
saying,
certain period of time, they can't have children, which is their primary duty.
Tunisia, this is why I've been telling you. You're a very intelligent man, but a lot of what you're jumping off of is Westernism. What you're talking is what they call biological determinism. It's been proven to be false. As a matter of
What?
fact,
How?
let me prove it to you. As a matter of fact, I've been screaming this. That is one of the reasons why when Lord Lugard came to Nigeria and they justified colonizing Africa, what did they say? They said for too long the African man has sat idle and not done productive work, which is why they initiated the hut tax, which forced men to do what? Leave the villages. The women did not. I've always said Shaka Zulu's wife did not ask him for Brazilian hair and a Birkin bag. Women have always worked. Like, you guys gotta
What?
stop with this stuff,
What are you
man. Y'all
talking
gotta cut
about?
it out. You guys are being manipulated by women, and that's why the women in the chat are
What?
loving you to
Are
Niger. They
you
say,
are
"Oh,
you out
Two
of your
Niger's a
mind?
real
So
man. Two Niger's a real
if a
man."
woman is 7 months pregnant, you will send her
I'm
to go hunting.
no.
What are you
Can I
talking
finish?
about?
Can I finish? You see, you're not letting me
If the
finish.
woman is
Let
raising
me
a child of
finish,
two
brother.
years
You
old,
talk. You
you send
said
her
your
to the
point.
battlefield.
Dying. Oh my God, Two Niger, cool
Go
down.
ahead.
Listen. First off, when you say you're talking from you're assuming the nuclear family structure. In West Africa, we didn't have a nuclear family because we weren't exploding. We weren't trying to drop bombs and destroy ourselves. We didn't have a nuclear family structure. We had a communal family structure. So if a woman is pregnant, 9 out of 10, her sisters are around, my sister is around, and my other co-wives will be around to assist her. Her younger sisters will be there. So she wasn't left by herself. So if you want to really go for the African culture, let's make it communal again. Let's make the village great again. I've been saying that for years. But you see, guys like you don't want to make the village great again. You want this patchwork of half individualism, half Eurocentrism, and then half African. It will never merge. So this biological determinism that you're talking about sounds like Charles Spencer, sounds like Darwin. These are all Darwinian, eugenics-based thought processes that eventually lead us nowhere to individualism. So
I
our
think
women have never been these pampered,
Hold up, yes, man.
classes that just stayed in the forest in the back while the men were out there killing themselves. If that's the case, what about Candace of Ethiopia? What about the strong African women warriors
Because
who were
her
fighting?
dad, because her brother had been injured. That's why she stepped up. And the reason why she
And that's
stepped
my
up,
point.
let me
If she didn't
explain
have
to
the
you now.
training,
Let me tell
if
you
she
who gave
didn't,
her the
hold on,
training.
if
Was
she
it not her
didn't,
dad? Her
good.
dad
So
she was
you
trained
as
Now,
because
hold
of
on.
her dad.
good,
Let me pause you guys.
because a
Hold on.
man like you would not train her. Her father trained her.
Who
You
told
see,
you
a man
that?
like you would keep her. A
Let's
man like you would say, oh, she's a woman. She shouldn't do
Okay, finish
anything.
talking and I'll
But her
explain.
father didn't see her that way. He still trained her to replace her brother in case she was injured. You see the difference? That's why when James was asking you, what would you give Will Smith advice if he was your son? You didn't have anything for him because deep down, and unfortunately, most black men around the world think that masculinity is stunting on another man, killing another man, and abusing another man instead of real brotherhood. A lot of us sit here and stunt on each other. A dude might have access to money. Instead of him to say, yo, you know what? As long as his brother's respectful, yo, let me teach you the game. Let me show you how to get this money. You know what you do is like you do, and I'm not talking about you personally. You guys go to the club and stun on other men. Look at that broke dude.
Yep.
You want to be with a real man like me. And that's what's killing black men around the world. That's why
Wow.
Africa can't progress. And that's why black men in America are killing each other in Dunkin' Donuts because some girl made a phone call.
I don't know
That's
how
what's
you came up.
happening.
I don't know how you
Hold
came
on.
up with
Hold
that.
on. Hold on.
See,
Hold on.
this thing. Okay.
Tunaja, let me surprise you. Let me surprise you, right? I agree with you. When it comes to that biological determinism stuff, that, well, how Gaston terms it, biological determinism, I agree with you. Women are more valuable to a society in terms of like a Stone Age type of setting where you're like living in the wild. Even modern times, I would still agree with you that women are technically more valuable to society. That doesn't change the fact that they have brains, my brother. They do have brains. They're smart. You can't be saying they should be allowed to sell us out and we just ignore it. You know what I'm saying? While we're making progress towards getting to where we need to get to, we still need them not to sell us out. That still exists. You still have to like
Mm.
recognize that.
I agree with you on that. Obviously, they have brains, and I didn't say that they don't participate in society. They can participate in society locally. They generally, they are not responsible for security. When I'm talking about most of all these things, is power. When it comes to power, acquiring power, that's why almost all nations in the world are founded by men, because men are the ones that go and take the risk.
So
You
Nigel,
can,
what is a nation? A nation is
oh
a
my
modern
God,
day creation. There was no
kingdoms. Then
or
let me
your,
use kingdom. It doesn't matter.
it matters. These
Oh
things
my God.
mattered. We didn't
See,
have nations in West
let me finish
Africa.
my point. Let me finish my point.
The
Can you let me
Malian
finish? I let
Empire
you
did
finish your point. Let
okay,
me
but the
finish my
Malians
point.
didn't have a passport that the Oyo people had to respect. We
Let
didn't
me
have
just finish my
nations. What are we
point. Let me
saying?
just finish my point. The Oyo kingdoms, whatever you want to call them, clans, are founded by men. It's not by women that generally found these things. And whenever these conflicts or strife gets to the women, that is often the last resort. Even in America, when they went to when they went to war with Germany, and the women had to go start working in factories, that is because the men are gone. By the time the war gets to the women, things have gone like it's really bad. It shouldn't. Normally, your job is to prevent that from getting to the women,
But
because that's where the
Tunisia,
children are.
Tunisia, but you have to understand
The
that was
next generation, that's where they are.
but Tunisia, that was circumstantial. The United States had to send men because they had to look at the greater consequence of not having men there. That is the purpose of man. For the simple fact that at the end of the day, this is again, like I said before, when a woman's pregnant, she is bearing something that most men will always cherish, but that is for a period of time. After that period of time, that man must do whatever it takes to make sure whatever he has created must be sustained and be able to walk on to carry his legacy. That is a greater challenge for man. Just
But
like
James,
raising
here's the thing, James, and you're absolutely right. But even deeper, we didn't do this on an individual level. You see, because what the
exactly.
conversation has always been, they always give. This is why in the old days in West Africa, right, and parts of Africa, when a young boy was coming of age, the family would observe him and say, okay, this guy seems to be responsible. So what would happen? The community would chip in and go and marry him his first wife, most likely. Dynas would contribute some goats, Two Niger would contribute some goats, and we would all go together and support our young brother from our village. And which is actually the child price, not the bride price, because like James was saying, when that child comes, typically in Ghana, they have matrilineal. Ija people follow matrilineal. Not all. Many West Africans were actually they became patriarchal patrilineal. But typically, when that woman gives birth to the child, who does the child belong to? It belongs to her village. That's why you pay the child price. So the children and the lineage can now come to your lineage. That's why you exchange that. But guess what that does? That circulates the flow of good and resources in the economy. So now, next time when Two Niger's son wants to get married, Dynas, myself, James, we all going to get together and contribute for Two Niger's son. You see, what would happen in the modern day sense is we're making it individual. And that's what's killing us. But when you look at the so-called elites, the Illuminati, Council of Foreign Relations, they're working as a collective. What's wrong with us, black men? Why we don't understand that? We are stunting on each other, doing this individualistic shuffle that realistically none of us can defeat capitalism individually. We can defeat capitalism if we work as a collective, if we pool our resources together.
Well, that's the thing. I agree with you, everything you say. And I think what I felt disturbed by Tunisia is that he feels that women are more valuable. And when I hear this, it's very disturbing because it really undermines a man's ability from day one. Because we consistently hear men are not valued, especially young boys. These are the things that you understand as a young black child. And I've seen this. When you destroy a young boy's confidence, that is so traumatic for so many years to come. Versus when I've read history and I've looked at, Genghis Khan, all these tribal, that's one thing they breed is a confident young boy. He can overcome. The woman is a subordinate in a sense where she will make sure that if she bears this man's child, that genetic trait is transcended through their child. So it continues on. And this is the type of damage that Tunisia, again, this is not directly to you, but the message that you speak of is very detrimental.
Because what Tunisia, like most men, unfortunately, and it's not his fault, we were raised by women in the Western concept. And women in the Western concept teach men to doubt themselves. Think about all the movies when we were growing up. What did we watch? When the guy wants to holler at the girl, what he do? Lisa, I was thinking maybe, if you like me, could we go out? And she says, yeah. What type of punk? Listen, girl, you gonna talk to me? Yes or no? She say no? Fine, see you later. You can read Jomo Kenyatta's book about how the Kenyans had like a communal concept when it came to dating and things like that. No dude was out there, yo, Mary, maybe if you like me, please, can you go out? What the hell? You remember The Wood, Diners? Remember that movie, The Wood? Even though, he shouldn't have grabbed the girl's ass and all that. But look how they were showing black men to be soft. You got to go up to her. I'm going to get my brother Stacy to kill you. This is the nonsense, man.
I am not saying, when I said women are more valuable, I'm saying it from the point of view of the survival of the species. I also said that both sexes are equally important. Men are more potent. There's a reason why a man can go up to 70 years and keep having children.
Yeah,
but the women don't have that luxury.
No,
hence they are a more scarce commodity.
Yes,
you see
I
what
understand
I mean?
that. Yeah,
we never looked at our women as commodities, Tunisia. You can't say this in Edo language.
Oh my God. Okay,
Can
maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm just telling you that is the reason why I consider them, because you can't replace them. When you take one out, how do you consider things valuable? When you take them out, it's harder to replace.
Okay, Tunisia, everything I say, I understand where you're coming from. But the problem we have in today's society, that you have extremely educated women we can all look at them, we say, oh, they're rational. And they are having children with men they have no business having children with. That is the bigger issue. If they see themselves as such a commodity, why would you actually put yourself in a deficit?
You know why, James? No, because let me tell James why.
Putting themselves in that situation.
No, I disagree, James. Let me tell you in my opinion. I could be wrong. I believe the truth of the matter is this idea of resources has been created and pushed upon our women, right? So they're taught and geared towards going after the man with the most resources, but deep down they don't really like those men.
No, they
It's
don't.
only because those men are able to, they're brutal, they're vicious. And I'm not saying any dude shouldn't go work. I'm not a socialist by any means, whatever. Don't write that garbage in the chat. But what I'm saying though is this: when you look at that, now that the woman has access to those resources, look at the type of man she's choosing. So obviously there's nothing wrong with her, because like the brother was saying, the women are just as intellectually capable as the men. So if they're choosing men who are not these quote unquote, as Kevin Samuels would say, high value men, because that whole argument is basically we're telling women, look at me, I got resources. You need to like me and be submissive. Dude, if she didn't choose you, you wasting your time. You're going to end up a fool like Will Smith. So brothers, get your money, but stop running around here thinking that because I got money, I'm going to buy her loyalty. If she didn't choose up on you, like the old school dudes used to say, if she didn't choose you and you ain't macking it, then you're wasting your time. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be with a woman, like they said, coming to America. You're going to share your wealth and your fortune with a beautiful fool who's going to despise you, who's going to throw up in her mouth every time she see you, and she's going to do everything to undermine you.
Tunisia.
In my opinion,
Tunisia,
You have to understand that sorry, let me just say this.
Go ahead.
The relationship between men and women and the way things are organized in the US has misaligned it. That is why you see some of these women, you remember their primary duty is to procreate. When they run out of the chance, because they have to go to university, they have to do that. When they run out of time, that's why you see women that you would think that they should be more responsible. They will settle for anybody.
No, Tunisia, hold on. Tunisia, we have women who are in their youth who are even there is so much information where women do not have to bear children, contraception, everything. And these women are still having children with men that have it's no rationale. I will share a personal experience. My mother's from Haiti. She comes to the United States. My father brings her over, and my father passes away. As I noticed as I gotten older, my mother allowed the Western influence to get the best of her. I'll never forget the disdain as I gotten older that my mother actually had for me. Not because, she doesn't love, it's because of the end of the day, what I've realized that there is a psychological warp where when women come, where island Western, anyone who comes to the West, that they're in competition of a man. For the fact that I was actually, I'm going to tell you, this is a real true story, man. The day I remember when I needed money to graduate, my mother said, "You are a waste of money." Literally in my face. And I'm her firstborn. And this is the thing that I've realized, that at the end of the day, this society, this thing in America, Western society, has perpetuated women to demonize men in a sense of, even a man is productive, he is still looked as an anchor, as a liability. And this is the thing that I still do not understand, why this is happening when you have seen more progression amongst Black men in this country.
Hey, real quick, we got Alan Harvey. Hold on, we let Alan Harvey Brown go, then gas them up, then we're gonna gas them up, and then we're gonna close out. But Alan, go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, we're seeing this in this society because of feminism. And feminism has taught these women that they are in direct competition with the men. They aren't a helpmeet. They're there to compete with the man, and if the man can't keep up, then you should discard him. But the irony is that some of these same women will then say that they find it easier to be independent and have a child with somebody who's clearly unworthy, rather than find somebody who could be on their level, who they could build with. This is why feminism is such a self-defeating, negative mindset and way of thinking. I grew up in Rochester, New York, and we had a mayor who just recently was a good mayor, but Black woman, she's married to some pookie guy, and he's selling drugs from their house.
I read that case.
Completely ruined her career. And you're like, why is this guy anywhere near her? She became a mayor of a city. He doesn't have a job.
But brother Allen, we can't. Okay, if we take that logic, right? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his wife Khadijah was the millionaire. She was the rich one. She saw he had potential and value, and she decided to invest in him. Now, I'm not saying that you should go pick a Pookie and Ray Ray and try to build them up. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is we need to learn to respect a woman's choices and stop trying to force it on them to say, I'm the guy you should build with. No, let's start accepting women that choose us. We need to stop pushing ourselves and saying, I'm the high value man. I got all this money. No, if she don't choose you, leave her be. If she ain't coming to meet you, fall back from her, because you're gonna end up upset that she's with some dude, you know what I'm saying, who's living out his mama closet and he doing all nasty whatever things to her, and because you don't excite her that way. So black men, please choose the women that you excite. Money can't excite no woman. She'll pretend, but money ain't gonna excite her.
But do you see how backwards that is for our women to be that way? You know, most women of most races will go ahead and choose somebody who they can build with and who they can plan a future with. When you have someone like the case I'm bringing up who's that big of a disparity, where the woman is the mayor of the city and the other guy does not have a job and is literally selling bricks out her house, and completely, she lost everything. She lost everything because of that.
Brother Allen, what about the black senator Presley for Massachusetts? Who is she married to?
I do not know.
The man is again, I'm not trying to judge him, but he's a convicted felon. This is a black woman who's a senator.
I ain't mad at that.
But hold on. We got a woman on. Go ahead, Mika, my African sister, who my troll.
I'm sorry. Hi, you guys. I hope you can hear me. I can't really hear you clearly.
Fine, we hear you just fine. Go ahead, Mika.
Yes, I was gonna say I've been following the conversation. So, from the African point of view, I believe that men should definitely take the lead. Obviously, we're built differently as men and women, and ultimately, men want to be respected and women want to be loved. And I think if we just achieve that, there's going to be that stability and balance. So I just have to say that I really do appreciate African men as far as them playing the role, providing for their families, being protectors, and they really play that role very well. So I have a lot of respect for African men. But it seems to me that if I look at the African American community, that there's a negative energy between men and women. I see a lot of like bickering back and forth. It seems to me like the men come across a little bit emotional and the women come across really tough as well. So yeah, so there's nothing wrong with gender roles and all this. So I was deciding to gas the map. I think you're talking about bride price. I don't know in your culture how it is, but I'm Zambian, and bride price is basically like engagement. It's like how you buy
I
an
said child
engagement ring.
price.
Yeah, well, we call it bride price. So
No, the
it's like how
Europeans
you
called it bride price.
all right, whatever. I'm from a different culture, but anyway, we call it bride price, and it's really just like how you buy an engagement ring for a woman that you want to marry. So you present her with gifts, or you buy gifts to her family for her family and stuff like that. And I found that the more we embrace like American values, we're becoming more dysfunctional. Where you start to look at bride price as if it's like property, when it's really just appreciation for the family. So I've seen that the young boys who are not paying bride price are really just not taking responsibility. They're going around knocking up these girls and just running away, and it's creating an
So
increase
Mika,
in like
in
single
Zambia,
mothers.
if I don't pay the bride price, who do the children belong to? Culturally, in your village? Because let me ask you, when's the last time you went to your village?
They belong to the woman's family.
Okay, it's a child price. I'm trying to tell you that the Europeans didn't understand our culture. They interpreted things the
Yeah, I
wrong way.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm not going to get into semantics. I'm just saying that it's a form of appreciation as opposed to like a payment, because they see it more as like you're buying somebody, but it's really just an appreciation, just like you buy an engagement ring for a woman because you want to appreciate that, or you want to say that you want to marry that woman. That's really what bride price is. That's what I'm saying.
No, I get where you're coming from, but remember, when you pay a bride price, when you pay a bride price, keep in mind that this thing that they're calling bride price, like you said, it's not about property, because at the end of the day, and I'll ask you, I don't know about Zambia, but tell me, when the woman dies, typically in the villages, does she get buried with her husband's family, or they take her back to her father's family?
It depends on the tradition. It can work both ways. She can
work
get married
both
with her
ways.
husband, or she can go back to her own. If that
her own
culture is
family.
matrilineal, she'll probably
Okay.
go back to her mother. If it's patrilineal, she'll go to her father's.
Her husband. Okay, so because you're right, a lot of modern day African men are interpreting it as if it's property. which
Yeah.
leads to all kind of abuse, beating your woman. African men, you didn't dare beat your woman because her brothers and her uncles will come and see you about that. You don't beat no woman. And I'm all for, yo, she need to listen to you, but you don't gotta beat her and all that stuff. So again, that's why I'm very clear to say it's child price, because if I use bride price, then some men use that as a license to interpret, to do all kind of silliness instead
Yeah,
of
well, I get
using,
it, but
you know.
historically, I think historically we Africans have never interpreted it that way. It's, I think, the West that's forcing that interpretation of bride price. We've never understood it to mean a purchase or some type of, no, we haven't. Unless feminism and the West is forcing it to mean that we just haven't. It's very clear that it's like an engagement ring. Anytime you pay bride price, you're saying that you have an intention to marry a woman. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So
Mika,
anybody
Can I,
wants to
can I say
misconstrue it
something
to mean,
that
I have a question for
I
you,
have
Mika,
an
when you're
issue
done.
with? Let me just say something that I have an issue with. You said
Well, hold
something
on. I
about,
think somebody had. We got. I want to hear the woman. I mean, I've been hearing you
well, she
mention
made the
I
woman.
comment
have a,
that,
I
that
have
I
a
seem
question for
No,
you.
but somebody.
okay,
Alan,
fine, that's fine.
Alan, you have a question for Mika?
I had a question for Mika.
All right, go ahead.
yeah,
Ask your question for Mika. Go ahead.
So Mika, you being obviously from Africa, right? And you
yeah,
mentioned the comment that you see the bickering between back and forth, right? Now,
yeah.
from your perspective, from what you see, is there some sense where you can say that black men in America have some rationale on their position on why they are speaking in the sense they are?
Sorry, just repeat your question.
So, do you see the rationale on why black men in America are speaking speaking on the way they are because of what we see that from what they see from their perspective, you being an outsider?
Okay. To be honest, it just seems to me like there's an imbalance, both from men and from women. Like I've interacted with a few Black American men. I just felt like they seemed a little bit more emotional than, let's say, African men. Like, and as far as taking accountability and responsibility, it didn't. Yeah, they just. I'm generalizing anyway. I haven't met every Black American man. And then for the women, it also came across like they had a problem with a man taking the lead role. Like they it just seemed to me like it was. I just think that basic things where I think that it's obvious that a man should take a lead role in making decisions. If you're a man and a woman in a relationship and there's a crisis in agreeing on an issue, who makes a decision? It's obvious that a man should make the decision. So it seemed to me like the women, um, again, I'm generalizing, really had a problem with patriarchy or male leadership, I think. And I think that creates the imbalance on both sides. So I just think that the men also has to take some accountability because some of my friends would complain about the women they're with and how they're not going to marry them and they've got all these kids and everything. But I think as a man, you played a role in creating that situation, though. Like if you have a woman and she's got 4 kids, 5 kids, you still haven't proposed or married her because apparently she's not marriage material, but she's good enough for you to lay with, though. Because in African culture, that's not acceptable. They're not knocking up anybody's child that you haven't paid bride price for. So I think it's a mutual imbalance. No, I'm not gonna blame any. I'm going to say both has to take responsibility.
So in that aspect, do you see where and again, I'm speaking from a context you seeing from a male's perspective, right? We're talking about responsible, productive men. I don't want to put I'm not talking about the irrational, the pookies and raving. I'm talking about the responsible, productive men. Do you see where did she drop off?
Dinus, you muted.
Yeah, she did drop off. She dropped off. Hopefully, she comes back on here in a
Oh,
second. And
that's
then
unfortunate. Because what I wanted to say was that
she's
you know
back. She's back. She's back. She's back. She's back. All right,
Okay,
go ahead,
okay.
Mika.
So yeah, I was gonna say I'm talking about from a perspective of a productive, responsible male, right? Do you
Yeah.
see why many of these men are faced with so many challenges in the Western world when they want to take the responsibility, they want to lead?
I've never been to the US, so I don't know how the culture is, but I did spend like 10 years in Australia. It looked to me like, if I have to talk about from that point of view, that the system was kind of suppressing masculinity. Like it's like the system was against male productivity and males like fatherhood, marriage. It just seemed to be against traditional values. But at the same time, you also have to understand that the same system is also against women. I also saw that, like how Black women were presented. Like I noticed in Australia, obviously, I was interacting with more white males than if they were Black, they were most likely African, like Nigerian or something. But yeah, like women were sexualized. It's like hip hop and American music culture was really promoted, and people would look at me as a Black woman and kind of like objectify you and see you as this sexual object. And it plays a role with how you go through life. If you're perceived in a certain way, as you're just good for people to objectify and stuff. So I think the system works against both men and women. So I think there is men that wants to be productive and responsible and everything, but they're fighting this sort of system. But I still feel that you can still take accountability for those gaps.
So
really, I hope
Mika,
I'm making sense.
so Mika, I was gonna say, let me finish my last one. I'll say, Mika, the reason why, and again, this is not directed to you. There are women who are educated like you, right?
Yeah.
Who speak they have the complete. When you look at their resume, they are impeccable, but they refer back to these lower class behaviors. And this is why, like the whole, when I say sometimes when it comes to sexuality, there are a lot of chicks who got PhDs. If you ask them, would you get on that stripper pole? I can bet $1 they'll hop on that stripper pole.
Well, I hear you. I hear you, but I don't know. Is that the exception, or that can't be the rule, though? That's
But
probably
James,
the
do we
exception.
accept them for doing that, or do we try to change them?
No.
Wait, what I'm saying, right? I think a lot of those dysfunctional women, yes, but I think that's mostly the exception to the rule. And why I'm saying that is, if you look at that particular category of women, most of it is coming from father-daughter issues, like father issues. If a woman has never really had a strong father figure, a strong male figure in her life, she's going to live a life chasing male attention, and that can mean lowering your standards to a point that it doesn't even make sense. So like for me, who had a very strong father figure, very strong brothers in my family, uncles and everything, I have no problem with male authority, and I have no problem respecting male authority, because it has never proven to be toxic to me personally, you see.
But Mika, can I push back a little bit on you?
Sorry?
Let me push back a little, because if you go to Africa, I haven't been to where you're from, but in West Africa, because Africans like to spread these myths, Diners, like everything is all peachy keen, especially if you go to the cities. You got young girls as young as 15, 16 out there sleeping around. Their fathers is in the house, especially the South girls, right? The girls in the South is.
Wait.
I'm speaking specifically about Nigeria.
Okay,
Hold on, wait. No, wait. I'm gonna let someone. You got these girls who are out there sleeping around doing prostitution. They're sleeping with the guys for money, right? What's the song? You want to chill with the big boys, right? Diners, everybody want to bamba. That's what's happening, and the girls is out there doing that stuff. So at the end of the day, but those women still understand, because there's a culture still at place, even though it's eroding, that hey, when you get married, you should still follow certain templates. And I think what James is trying to say is that in this country, unfortunately, historically, they've robbed Black people of those templates, right? That they could follow, especially after 1960. Because what do you see? You see the flooding of drugs in the Black community. You see the Black exploitation with the films. So, when Two Niger is saying that these women are educated and so strong, if that's the case, Two Niger, why haven't they gotten white supremacy off their back? Why are they divesting away from their men?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I agree with what you're saying. It makes a lot of sense. So, like I said, I'm probably not qualified enough to speak about the US specifically, but those government policies and all those systemic issues definitely will cause that gender imbalance. But the question really is, then what next? Like, what are we doing about it to fix that? So as far as Africa, yes, the dysfunction is there, but where is it coming from? You find that a lot of these young girls are watching the Kardashians. They are watching things on Netflix. The other time I was watching something on Netflix, it was South African sitcom, and it had like homosexual themes in it. So this stuff is being inserted into African culture as well. So don't be surprised
No, I agree. Remember, Dennis, I've been telling you, go to Africa and the cities, there's a bunch of pseudo ADOS and pseudo FBA. I got cousins that's calling their kids Pookie, literally. Dennis, I have a cousin who I know her
you have
village.
To understand why this kind
and
of the
she
most
says
dysfunctional.
her son's name is Pookie. That's his nickname. And I'm scratching my head looking at this girl like,
Yeah,
like,
you have to understand.
What is wrong with you?
You have to understand why the most.
Go ahead,
dysfunctional
Mika.
aspects of our culture is promoted though, and who promotes this. And you have to realize that Africa is the largest youth population, so a lot of international quote unquote, they're targeting the African youth population with gay propaganda, with feminist propaganda, with all this stuff. So yes, don't be surprised if it's exactly like America in the next 20 to 50 years or whatever. But I'm saying traditionally in African culture, right? And I come from a traditional family. When I speak, I'm speaking from a traditional point of view that men take the lead. And when you create a society where men are not given the opportunity to take the lead, or they refuse to take the lead, you can guarantee yourself dysfunction. Look at women that's growing up without fathers. These are the women you're talking about that's dating. They have degrees, and then they're going for the most, below the line and everything. And even men, look at men that's been raised maybe just by a mother, and they'll have some dysfunctions. So this is coming from extracting sort of, I think, masculinity from society, but also femininity also has to take a part. Like if you're talking about you want to get married, because I hear that in the US, I don't know, Black women are quote unquote unmarried. I don't know if that's true, but I've been seeing Kevin Samuels and some of the stuff he's saying. Let's say you do want to get married, but then you don't want to do the domesticated duties that a woman is supposed to do, So I feel like there's a cultural.
So Mika, when a woman
somewhere.
in Zambia doesn't do what she's supposed to do in her house, what does the culture and what does the community say to that
They
woman?
replace her. They're gonna take a second wife. Simple.
To
End of
Niger, did you
story.
hear that? Did you hear that, to Niger? African American brothers, did you hear that? Dinah, did you hear
African
what
men
she just
don't.
said?
African men
Please
don't
say that
do
again,
like that. They
sister.
don't play around like that.
Yeah, but
The
listen,
African men don't.
I know
They don't do the
Tunaja
Will
is
Smith
being
kind of business now.
right. I know Tunaja is being disingenuous. I already know that. That shit ain't gonna fly in Africa, but that's just
Yeah,
Tunaja
no.
being.
Look, African men don't do the Will Smith. I'm gonna pull up with whatever my wife is doing to the end. Like look, it's cool to love your wife. I think you're supposed to love your wife, but your wife is supposed to respect you as well. So it has to be like an exchange, right? So African men, if you're not showing up, I guess they're just gonna replace you with a second wife, and the culture fully supports that.
James, do you hear that, James?
Yes,
You hear
I
what
personally
you
don't
hear,
believe in
James, what
polygamy,
Tunaja
but
was saying? You hear it straight from the African woman's mouth.
Yes, sir.
yeah, no, they're gonna replace you straight away. There's no conversation about it. So personally, of course I don't favor that, but I can see why it happens. Like why, if you as a woman you don't want to play your role, then yeah, you're gonna be replaced. What else?
Mika, but Mika,
What
let
else
me
is
ask.
there
I have
to
another question for
discuss
you,
really?
Mika.
Hey,
I have a question for you.
sure.
Do you see the damage when a woman does not play her role? The long term effects it has on a child, whether it's a boy or a girl, from your perspective, obviously from an African culture. Being
Yeah,
obviously
of
you
course
didn't
it's a
go through that. You
dishonor.
didn't
Like
go
why
through.
shouldn't it's a dishonor definitely. Like a woman is responsible for nurturing the home, nurturing the family, raising their kids and so on, and a man's responsible for leading and taking authority and making sure that everything in the house is in order. If nobody's playing their part, then it gets messed up for everybody. So definitely women do have to play their part and meticulously. So if I look at Jeddah like disrespecting her husband and all this stuff, I think definitely it's unacceptable. Of course, I mean in
Hold
America
on,
they're
hold
like,
on, hold on, hold
oh,
on.
but men
Tunaja,
shouldn't cheat.
hold on, Mika, hold on.
Tunaja, you heard that?
Did you hear that, Tunaja?
Mika, what would your family do if that was your family, Mika?
Hold on, gas him up. Mika, if you had a son, all right, and
Yeah,
he had a wife like Jada Pinkett who was disrespecting him in the public, what would you tell your son?
he has to leave the woman. Yeah.
Tunaja, do you hear that, Tunaja?
No, Tunaja would tell her, don't get involved.
Look, if I already have a son and he's married and the wife is like that, then I guess normally in Africa culture, I'll just get him a new wife or something. Like, definitely she's gonna go
Tunaja,
like
did you hear that? This oppressed African woman would get him another wife. Oh my God.
Tunaja,
This
yeah, no,
oppressed
for my
Dinah,
son,
this
yeah, for my
oppressed
son,
African
definitely.
woman.
Like, why
So
do I
here,
need to put up with a daughter-in-law that's no, it's not gonna happen like that.
Oh, her daughter-in-law.
Tunaja, so you telling me Mika has better discernment than you? I should trust my father.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, I mean, yeah, I'm not giving a pass to male infidelity or anything. I'm just saying that the man has a certain place in society. Like he needs to be respected to function. So if we're allowing the men to be openly disrespected, then we're asking for the problems that are coming with it. This is why I think Will Smith, that situation shouldn't even have happened for this long. He just needs to replace that woman and marry the next one, or just go back to his first wife or whatever. But he doesn't need to put up with that. No.
Man, Dennis,
I
can you
think it's not
imagine
right.
Dangote's wife doing that to him?
Like, well, it's not right because we're upholding him as a black man who is, he's had a long career. He's a respected guy. Like, he hasn't been dysfunctional. Like, this is not a douchebag or anybody. He's had a strong career, and so I think bringing him down just sets a really wrong precedent for all black men in general. And I think him crashing publicly like that, I think it sets a wrong precedent for all black men in general. So I think for me, Jada just has to go. Come on, guys.
Oh man,
let's
this
be real.
oppressed African sister, I'm sorry. You've been oppressed. The African culture is oppressing you. That's why you're
How?
talking like this.
Mika,
How am I
I'm sorry,
oppressed?
sister.
Which way? Like,
You not independent, sister. You
Mika,
don't need no man.
I'm
What do you need
very.
a man for? Why you
Come
gotta
on, guys.
respect that man? Respect
Mika,
him. He ain't nothing but a
The
dog.
joker.
Mika, you are the
Yeah, but
this is why you are the type of woman that I will say this, I would protect, because I know you have the interest in mind of me. You would not want me to bring shame or dysfunction, especially on a scale like that. And this is the thing where I hope many sisters can understand your perspective, because these are the things that transcend to not only our kids but just all black brothers, man.
yeah, no, I get it. No, I get it. Like, as I'm saying, Will Smith, his situation sets a wrong precedent for black men in general because obviously the man is the foundation
Oh
of
my
society.
God.
So if you're
I just Mika,
breaking him
gas him
down, then
up.
you're breaking down the society as well. So
Okay,
how can you allow that? How can his mother allow that? I think
okay,
no,
Mika.
like that woman just has to go, like for real.
Okay, Mika. I just swear these women in the chat room, they're just all right. So Mika, okay, so your son, he has children with you say Jada, he has children with Jada Pinkett, right?
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett is acting a fool, right? Embarrassing him, embarrassing the family. When you tell your son that, hey, you need to leave Jada Pinkett, does that mean abandon the children as well?
No, it's not equal. No, it's not equal to that. Like he has the woman goes. You keep the children because the children has your bloodline, has your. It's look in
That's why
Africa.
he
That's why
paid
you
the
pay the
bride
bride price.
price.
That's why you pay the bride price because the children has your bloodline. They have your name. That's it. Like she just goes and it's done. End of story. Yeah.
You see,
Like
but Dinus,
it might
this
sound, I
is what's
guess.
missing.
Well, hold on. Let,
Yeah,
let me
well, you don't
finish.
have
Let
those
me finish.
principles like bride price or whatever, so it doesn't work that way in your society. But look, I understand why women would be frustrated with this. But what I'm trying to say is that if you want to build a functional society, you have to hold men at a higher standard since they're the lead, right? Okay, let me give this example. Like, if we're going to talk about equality, you're at home with your husband and then someone breaks in, right? Who goes to the front door, right? Who
The
goes to the
independent
front door
woman,
and who stays behind to protect the kids?
the no good
So
nothing black man.
yeah, so the person who's going to the front door is putting their life at risk. They're at higher risk and everything. So that means that person should be held to a higher standard, and not just on the negative things, but even on the good things. So that's what I'm saying. That women, unfortunately, we do have a higher standard when it comes to things like, I don't know, purity, things like, I don't know, sex before marriage, things like, you know, we're held at a different standard. That's all I'm saying. So
Mika, I
don't
have a
think that because your husband is screwing around, you need to be screwing around. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that, yeah, I don't know if I'm
Mika,
making
can you
sense.
say that one more time, please? Please say that one more time. No, don't
I'm
be,
just saying
yeah, go ahead.
how we're designed, right? Men and women, we are designed, biologically, we're designed a certain way that women has more capacity. Women has more capacity for discipline, self-discipline is what I'm saying. Like, what am I saying? Okay, yes, that's what I'm saying, right? So there's like in Africa back in the day, right? If as a woman maybe you're getting married, they find you're not a virgin, they'll stone you. They won't stone the man. So why would they stone the woman and not the man? Because as a woman you're held to a different standard, just like a man is held to a different standard. Why? Because we're biologically different, but our physiology is different. We're different. So if you feel like we should be so equal, then if someone breaks into your house, go to the front door and let your husband stay behind while you go take on the
She
burglar.
don't need no
Why?
man. She gonna
Because he
call the
has the
police.
physiology, right? So he's different from you. So that's just how it is. So same thing for us as women. So
Mika, I have a
if you want to
question for you.
prevent like infidelity in the relationship, whatever, make sure that as a woman, when you're getting into marriage, you've saved yourself, you're pure, you're doing what, then you eliminate all this problem of single mother, what. Because if as a woman you set a standard, that's it. It cuts out all the crap. You just
Mika,
set a
Dennis,
standard
you
on
remember that
yourself.
lady who had like 8 husbands?
Yeah.
You remember her,
Like
right,
there's no
Dennis?
need.
Now, keep in mind, when we asked her, we said, what did your family say when you were trying to get married to these people? Dennis, you remember what she said? She said, what family? I don't let nobody tell me what to do. I live by myself. I do whatever I want.
And that's the
So,
problem.
that's the problem.
So
You
Mika, I
can't
have
be married individually.
Well,
Mika,
you're
I
not
have a
taking
question for you.
accountability.
Hey, let's
Yeah.
do this. James, last question, and I gotta close out. I gotta roll.
Okay.
So James,
So
last
Mika, I have
question.
a question for you. When you see women who are excelling, top of the food chain, having children with non-productive functional men, what is that? What goes through your mind?
Yeah, like like I said, like even I myself I might sound like maybe I'm one of those chicks who, I've got my degree, I'm a digital strategist by profession, I'm a social media manager and all this stuff. So I'm not gonna choose a dysfunctional guy that's below my look. Even if I did that, my father he has to go through my father. My father won't allow that anyway. How is he gonna pay my bride price if he don't have a job? It's just not gonna happen, right? But in situations where a woman comes down to that level where she's going for dysfunction,
Your
and
father,
treatment,
you ain't got to listen to your father. Why you listening to your daddy?
well, because if I'm not married, he's my like authority.
No,
Yeah.
he not. You free. You could do whatever you want. What daddy?
Come on,
Well,
man.
then he
This guy,
look,
what are you talking
look.
about?
My father, he's like provided for me my whole life, so he earned that place, like he earned that position.
So
Yeah,
that's
he
oppressive.
did
You
everything. I
know,
never lacked
hey,
anything as a child,
Mika,
so my
that's
father has
oppressive.
that position
Mika, your
automatically.
father's oppressing you with patriarchy. You need to get away from that man.
No, he's not. He's
He's
protecting me.
oppressive, Mika.
He's protecting me. He's providing for me. He guides me. He gives me wisdom. This is why I wouldn't be who I am, the woman I am, if it wasn't for my dad. So, yeah. So the same respect I have for my dad is what I'm gonna have for my husband. So it's really just that simple. I think it's nonsense all this stuff that you guys are doing in the West, and all this bickering. That's why there's all this bickering between the men and the women. It's because of all this nonsense. You're different. Accept the differences. Work with the differences. Men want to be respected. Women want to be loved. That's it.
But
It's
gender
really
isn't
that
even real,
simple.
so we can.
Let me just say something quickly. I think both sides have things that show up in kind of that shows symptoms. In the West, yes, you have these issues, but in Africa, you have poverty, you have insecurity, you have weak states. So
Uh-huh.
we can. That's why I see the pattern repeats itself in all our communities. Maybe in terms of marriage, clearly because the Western system is not in Africa, in the face of Africans all the time, it has not peculated. But the
Uh-huh.
problems, the weakness remains the same, and that is where that's why I even said that even in the West, the men complain about the women, they are missing the point. If
Yeah.
in Africa, the men thinking that okay, their communities, they don't have to do anything to protect their communities from this poverty, and because what is happening in Africa is affecting the African Americans too. Because if Africans were
Yeah.
doing their due diligence and making their continent strong, the African Americans won't be treated the way they are being treated.
How do we make the continent strong to Niger?
The men need to do their due diligence
Give me
and
two,
do the
three
business
examples
of
so we can
defending,
leave with that.
like recruiting more soldiers for one, to a international standard level. Our
Okay.
countries,
More
black
soldiers.
countries, are
Okay.
underdefended. Then run a better system by making the system more transparent. Run a
Okay.
more advanced democratic system by making it more advanced than what they
Okay.
have in the West. We have to be ambitious, and all these things don't require high technology. We can do them ourselves,
And once
and we
we
are not
do
doing
that,
them.
then heaven is going to open up and we're going to get the respect from black women we deserve.
Yes, you will start getting it for once because now you are in control of your destiny. The only country that voted against this in the way the consensus in the world in this Ukraine war in Africa is only Eritrea. Guess what? Eritrea is the most defended black country on earth. If you can call it black, is the most defended black country on earth because they have their own voice. And they have one of the highest literacy rates in Africa. Why do you think they're able to do that? While other countries are wallowing in poverty, why do you think? Why would we not be poor when we are not doing our due diligence to defend our countries? And this lady said that's one of the things I disagree with her. She said African Americans they do this. Yeah, because you are not seeing the ones your own men are doing locally too. Our countries are weak. We don't
Okay,
defend
so
our
to
countries
Niger,
at
like
all.
I said, please, when the next cult fight is in Benin, I need you, Dynast. We're gonna send him a video camera. We need 2 Niger to go out there and show us how real men do it.
See,
Please
if
defend
our
the women, 2
Nigerian
Niger.
military,
I'm
if our
begging you,
Nigerian
because I'm not a
military
man
says
like
they want
you.
to
You the
recruit
biggest man.
1 million soldiers today, I will join.
Hey, y'all, listen. We got to go. We got to close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it.
All right,
Nigga, thank
peace,
you for
family.
showing up. Until next time, family. Peace.